version.
haven't heard Mr. Pickles speak yet.
Is he not there? I hope he is, because we're live.
It's got laryngitis.
I haven't heard his voice.
Mr. Pickles.
Yeah, we're there.
It's the first step in the recovery program.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to
Chugga Wugga. Chugga Wugga. Chugga Wugga.
What?
Chugga Wugga.
I've muted myself, sorry.
Well, because you just posted something in the chat, I've just had the Chugga Wugga music blasting through.
I'm going to refresh.
And what do you say? You better take cover. The wafflers are raiding.
Waffle raid.
Yeah, apart from you spent the first 3 posting it in my channel instead of the channel.
You didn't say post it in their channel.
If you read the instructions.
Who read? Okay, put your hand up. Put your hand up in Zoom if you read instructions.
I'm American.
Americans don't have instructions. They just expect everybody to follow them.
I got 12 or a woman.
Yeah, only women read instructions.
Yeah, badly. Backwards.
Can I just say, at this present moment in time, this stream claims no responsibility to the views of the very male chauvinist people in this stream, i.e. Medivac, who will be sleeping in the spare bedroom tonight, and Chugga Wugga. Anyway, hello, welcome to this week's episode of Hessaret's Treasure. Episode number 9, I think it is. So the party have been frantically going through various barriers and difficulties for quite a while now, but they are looking forward to finding the burial chamber and discovering the wealth which is Hessaret's treasure. Before I give a very quick synopsis of what's happened or what has been happening, I'm going to allow the players to have an opportunity to say who they are and which character they will be playing tonight. So, and we'll start as always by going down there to Mr. Chugga Wugga.
Hello, I'm Chugga Wugga. I'm playing Gulliver, a young sorcerer who's recently joined the Order of the Kraken, which is one of the 4 sorcery orders on Odis. He specialises in spells concerning teleportation, transportation, and communication. He normally spends most of his time trying to impress the party and others, although it doesn't always go according to plan. Deep down, he wants nothing more to be liked and accepted by everybody. He's not doing it to seek power, magic, or gold. In Gulliver's eyes, a meaningful well done. It's the best reward in the world. And I shall pass on to Longshanks, Epigra.
Sorry, who? Oh, hi guys, I'm Longshanks EPG.
Oh, EP.
Oh, yeah, you should know that by now. Tonight I'm playing Hengist. He is a warrior from a foreign land, decked out in full heavy iron armor. Normally fights with sword and shield, but his shield was chewed and dissolved in a lizard's mouth near the beginning of this adventure, so he's wandering around without a shield at the moment. He is on a quest to save the world. That seems to be what he's doing at the moment. He's sort of like stumbled in with this group and picked up the cause and is trying to do his best to become a famous warrior at the same time. And I'm going to pass it on to Mr. Pickles because he looks particularly attentive.
Hi guys, I'm Mr. Pickles, and thanks for passing over me. Tonight I'm going to be playing Bartleby Fumus, our group's resident goblin expert and miracle worker. He serves the white moon goddess Amriel as best he can, considering she often just gives him very vague visions that he has to interpret, such as everybody being blasted by fire from a dragon flying around this mountain that we're going on. But Bartleby is easily spooked by these visions and most scary things. But overall, he's naively well-meaning towards his fellow humans and wants to get out of this situation with everybody alive. Throwing the microphone at Medivac.
Hello, everybody. I'm Medivac, and I play Hessaret. He is the nomad scout character of the party who really has lots of friends, no enemies, because he's killed them all. So he's a little bit down at the moment after losing his spear that he's had since childhood. And he's loved this spear, and he's had it so long, and he's had to replace the head, fair enough, and he's had to replace the shaft, but it's still a spear that his parents gave him, and he loves it. And he's trying at the moment to help Mr. Bartleby release this curse from him that's slowly draining his life force. And with that, I shall pass on to our lovely GM in Wales.
Yes, I was just having a look at how we left the party last week, and I think this was the final screen that we had. Can you see that? Are you on that screen?
Yeah, I'm trying to work out what that. Oh,
This
I remember
this is this thing over here is the waterfall, and this was the small gap that you found down the side. Bartleby, you have vigor on you, I think,
and perseverance.
Yeah, perseverance. Yeah, and Laram, he was carrying a torch. It looks by the looks of things, because he's got a yellow dot on him, but I don't know what the heart was. I think it was because he had a bleed effect on him from falling down the pit. Anyway, let me give a brief synopsis of what's happening. The party are searching for 3 artifacts that will allow them to visit somebody called Cassini, who has the one seed that will rule them all. Bartleby already has the first of these 3 items, a bracelet which is round his wrist, slowly draining his life force. There are 2 other items that they need to collect. One of them is a torque, and one of them is a death mask. They located the death mask some time ago and found out that it was buried in a place called Hessaret's treasure, a hoard of magical items. Well, it's rumoured to be magical items and great wealth by the long ago now dead barbarian called Hessaret, who used to raid the surrounding areas. The party have ventured forth and have arrived after going up the side of a mountain, being attacked by a dragon. Have actually grabbed one of their fellow companions and made off with them. They did find the person's head at a later date, which was Bartleby said a few words over, being the party's thesis, the cleric. They then progressed and they went through a large chamber that was full of rather large bats, but because they're really, really good at adventuring, they only had one light source, so they didn't actually disturb them. They then went down up an incline, and Laram, who is one of the fellow NPCs who are adventuring with them, fell down a nasty pit. Luckily, the party managed to get him out, and Gulliver and Bartleby did some healing magic to almost like restore him. As well as the party, in the players that you know here, there are also 3 other people in the group. There's Laram, who is almost like a barbarian character and bodyguard to Fineal. And then there is Tobias, and Fineal and Tobias are 2 arguing factions of a once gang. Both of them had both half of them different halves of a map that has actually led them to the Nameless Hill, where they have found this tomb. At the end of the last adventure, the characters had already found 2 long bits of wood submerged in water that had brass ends to them, and they suddenly realized that this was used to actually lay across the trap that Laram had fired off, and in order to move across it, they have rested for a short period of time at the other side of the pit and have removed all fatigue. Their luck points have been returned for the purpose of this session, like they are at every session, but no magic points have been returned unless you wish to make a long rest at the present moment in time. where the last thing I said to you was that as you look down the corridor, you can see that at the end of the corridor there appears to be an archway that is actually set up with stonework and round the outside of it. So it's not just like a tunnel. It looks like it's a proper ornate arch that is actually being used to proclaim some entrance. Loram is fit to travel, although not necessarily fit to be the best sort of fighter around, and that is where we left it, and that is where we will carry on in today's adventure. So what would you like to do, guys?
Gulliver wants to put his backpack down, and he wants to take his torch out of the backpack. Before he lights it, he also wants to untie the copper cooking pot that's dangling on the back of the backpack, and he's going to place that on his head as his helmet before he lights the torch using his tinderbox.
Yeah, okay, that's absolutely fine. So I'm just getting rid of the rubbish from last adventure, and then I can get you sorted for this one.
And then once his torch is lit, holding it aloft, he wants to have a closer look at the archway, see whether or not the outer edge of it has any type of
okay then. So
symbols or engravings on.
Yeah. So before you do that, let's just get some idea of perspective here, so we know. So Gulliver has a torch now. Loram will not have a torch. Yeah. So imagine that this is roughly the corridor you are going down, and this is tunnel. So here, just behind Hengist here, that's where the pit is. So the two planks of wood sort of lie like that. Okay, you are not actually at the archway. The archway is some distance down, so it's sort of like here. Yeah.
Okay.
So there is quite a there's about 10 meters between the front of the party and the archway. You actually, your torchlight casts 9 meters, so you can just see it at the end of the of your torchlight. But what I wanted you to be aware of is that if you wish to do that, it would mean that you would be 9 meters away from the rest of the party.
Okay. Well, once he's actually lit his torch, I want to prepare a spell before heading up to the archway.
Okay. Yeah. What spell are you casting?
So I'm going to be casting. That.
Right. Because we discussed this last week, didn't we? Are you planning on holding that?
Yes.
Yeah, but we discussed that last week, didn't we? And we said that hold magic is a combat action. So it only sort of like affects in combat, because otherwise what you would have is that all sorcerers would walk around with power word kill memorized. And then sure something happens,
so
just go dump.
Once he's lit his torch, he'll head down towards the archway.
Okay then, so the rest of you, you see Gulliver light a torch, and then you just see him start to head off down the corridor towards the archway.
Azra will shout out before he goes any further if possible. Gulliver, don't you think it would be wise to check for traps before you go any further? We have not checked the floor here. I mean, anything. We found a pit here. There could be more things ahead of us. You shouldn't go alone like this. You are too valuable for the group.
But we didn't check for that last trap either.
Well, we kind of did using what I like to call as the canary that is Lelan. He found it for us. You did not get hurt. He got hurt. He can take it. He's a barbarian. Strong barbarian.
Fineal, pipes up and sort of like after you've sort of like finished. So Gulliver's stopped and Hessaret, you sort of like say your bit, and then Fineal says, Master Gulliver, you're not planning on getting to the treasure first, are you?
No, I just thought it's probably best if we move on, and everybody else was congregating.
Tobias says, well, I think we just we're just allowing Leram to recover somewhat.
Well, are you ready now?
Well, I think if the majority, or if, and he sort of like looks round at the rest of you and he says, are we ready to move on?
I think that before we move on, whomever is leading should have Amriel's eyes gazing down on them to protect them. If I can say my prayers to get her gaze upon whoever we're having lead.
Fineal says, well, normally Leram would take the lead, but due to his current state, I think maybe one of your group is much better to be taking the lead at this point.
I shall lead the way. I mean, this is not my forte as such, but I can do my best to find out if any traps or anything in front. At least that way. If anybody's to go, it's me.
I normally find things pretty well.
So you can walk actually to abreast down here. Fineal's almost like wants to be still next to Leram in the best sense of the word. Leram is, like I said, he is operable, but not. He did have several bronze spikes through him, so.
So it's Gulliver, you stay close to me, then keep your eyes out. You know any magical things to look out for. You are fantastic out there at doing things. So, and maybe if somebody can look after Tobias, because he is all alone now and I don't want anything to happen to him.
Well, it seems that Hengist is next to Tobias. So is Gulliver and Hessaret going next to each other in the front?
Yeah, just a little bit of space between us, though, if you wouldn't mind.
You can move your character, can't you? Space as in widthways, or space as in you will be slightly more ahead than Gulliver? I'll be
slightly a little bit more ahead, but...
Cool.
I don't want to be touching him.
So, a bit like that.
Gulliver's going to be keeping an eye. How tall's the ceiling? Is it viewable?
Yeah, this sort of like corridor is quite. Once you've got two torches now, because Leram's relit his. Once you start looking at the surroundings here, this corridor or tunnel, it appears to be the most. How can I say it? Crafted. Of all the tunnels that you've been up to in this point. It's almost like after the pit, a lot of work has gone into actually making this corridor more of a corridor. And Hessaret, as you look down at the front under Gulliver's light, you do see that at the end where Leram and Fineal is, it's just sort of like rock. But what you notice is that as it progresses further and further to the archway, here, there and everywhere to start off with, they're sort of like flagstones or flat stones that have been sunk into the ground. But as you look down the corridor, it appears that they get more and more frequent. So sort of like here, there might be one like that. But as you go down, there might be another one like this.
Are these placed or just carved out of the rock?
They've been sunk into the thing. So I'm just popping them on for you so you can get an idea. So can you see, to start off with, they're quite separate.
Yeah.
But as it gets closer and closer to the tunnel, the archway entrance, you notice that they get more and more frequent, and they look like that more care has been taken into positioning them.
Is there a kind of a pattern I can determine from the ones as they get closer, or are they do they still look, although they're close together, do they still look randomly placed?
Well, roll your perception and I'll let you know. Do you have anything about traps?
I don't, sadly.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you think that there's no actual pattern apart from that they become more densely packed as they get further. The other thing that you do notice is that the tops of them are quite clean, and there's no sort of like dust on them or anything like that. It's as if somebody has wiped them clean, and from the pit onwards it looks like they haven't been touched.
So all of them have been cleaned, not just some of them?
Yeah, all of them. It looks almost as if it's a very prized or honoured direction, or almost like a processional entrance to the archway.
Is there anything carved in them, or they're just slabs?
Just make a perception check. It's just to see about details. No, they all look flat. They don't look like they've been walked on a lot or anything like that. They just look completely and utterly flat. Bartleby, you were about to cast a spell or something?
Well, yeah, I was hoping to pray with somebody. I'm gonna try and get Gulliver's attention if I can.
Yeah.
But if he's too distracted, I'll go for Hengist to pray.
You can go for either of them. That's absolutely fine.
I'm gonna get Gulliver here. Praying for Amriel to shine her light. If I have time, I'd like to take minutes, but if I don't...
Well, yeah, you've had a good lot of minutes then when they've been sort of like eyeing up the rest of the tunnel and getting people into some kind of order. So, yeah, by all means, you can have minutes.
Excellent.
So that'll be an easy roll. Yeah. Well, that's a perfect roll.
Amriel likes you, Gulliver.
Yeah, let's just...
Everybody likes me.
Let's just stick Amriel's protection on Gulliver there. Cool.
Skull and crossbones.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what it actually looks like. Tobias, sorry, Hengist, Tobias is giving you the most evil of looks ever, and you do notice that his right hand is not visible. It's actually across his body, on the hilt of his, on the hilt of it, the pommel part of his dagger. So he's actually got it on ready. You would figure probably that he hasn't completely forgiven you for the death of his friend last week. And you do notice that every now and again you sort of, when you get that feeling that somebody's looking at you or somebody's watching you, and you sort of like turn to him, but he doesn't move his gaze. So a lot of the time somebody's looking at you and you look at them and they sort of go, oh no, sorry, I wasn't looking at you. When you look at him, he just sort of like stares back at you, and he's almost like doesn't flinch at all. And Fineal sort of like leans into, she sort of like goes up on tiptoes to sort of like whisper closely to your ear, and she says to you, "Oh, this is when things get exciting. I've seen him like this before. He's just a demon." And so like goes back to her position at the back of the party.
Right, we're going to start.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Down the...
I want to keep Gulliver behind me so that I don't get blinded by his torch, and I don't want to touch. As we go down, I'm going to suggest this to Gulliver, like just not to go on the flags, or can we try to test the flags, see if they move at all, or
you can do either or. It's completely up to you.
Well, I tell you what, we'll come to the first flag. Gulliver, what do you think if we perhaps test these stones in the floor that's been placed, see if they are traps or to see if they are some kind of switch mechanism? Can we maybe move them a little bit? I don't know. I'm not wise in these things.
Well, if it's a trap, is it wise to move them?
Well,
I thought that's why you were leading.
No, if we're back a bit, it won't hurt us perhaps. But if we're on top of it, maybe it kills us. But hey, or if we get something below it now and move it, perhaps we can check.
The flags are obviously very sunken into the ground. So
are they sort of? Is there mortar or anything around it, or are they just?
No, it just looks like it's been dug out. Sunk into it and then sort of like packed round it again. So the only way to possibly lift them would be to actually dig round the outside of the flag.
Gulliver's going to turn around to the people behind him, and he's going to say, "We're going to be moving forward. Try not to stand on the flags if you can help it."
Tobias just sort of like almost like the sort of like nods, and Fineal from the back says, "Yes, okay, no worries."
And then we're going to start heading down. Gulliver's going to be keeping an eye on the walls and the ceiling.
Okay then, so
and I'll be looking at the floor. Anything moves below my feet, I will be taking a step back.
Okay then, so both make me a perception roll. Okay, yeah. So basically, you managed to sort of like get down to the entrance of the archway. Sorry, I just moved you, and then I thought I'd selected you all, but I selected the walls as well. Which wasn't the... Oh, that's it. Okay then. So, I'm going to tell you what you can actually see on the other side of the archway. I'm going to now put on your light, Gulliver. So it'll take me a few minutes just to get everybody's light to make sure that they have the appropriate sight to see. So just bear with and don't go marching off anywhere. Okay, until I've sort of like moved. Right, I'm going to have to get rid of that. I'll just delete those because I don't need them anymore.
So I just touched my Twitch.
Right, okay then. So I'm going to move you on to it. You might not be able to see anything for a while when you arrive, but just bear with me until I get you all sorted and in the proper places. I'm putting you all in a position, but it is assumed that you are actually in your marching order still, but Hessaret and Gulliver, you are at the front of the party. Okay, the rest of you won't. You're sort of like further behind. Your characters won't be, or you'll just see them in the background somewhere, because you're not actually in the room. Okay, so you'll just sort of like see yourself in darkness. Yeah, go.
I said, just so you know, I've got my scimitar out because I'm missing my spear. So
Yeah.
in my hand.
Yeah, cool. Please remember that you shouldn't be looking at the stream, because obviously I've got things on the GM layer. So if you got the stream open, by all means have the chat open, but close the actual stream so you can't see it. I'm going to move you.
I turned mine off.
Move you there now. Okay then. So what you can see, you should be able to see Gulliver and Hessaret. You both should be able to see something. Yeah.
Top, just in the top.
Well,
corner.
yeah. So I'm going to tell you what you can see before you move in. So up at the top, sort of like at the northeasterly direction, you can see what appears to be a. It looks like a warrior. It seems to be clad out in what appears to be almost like armor. It sort of like has a breastplate on, and it seems to have a helmet on, and it seems to be carrying a shield, and it seems to have a long spear held in its offhand. It looks, just from where you are at the moment, it looks very skeletal, but it's almost like, looks like that, you know, that stuff that you sometimes hang armor onto to hold it,
like a dummy type thing with the cross beams and.
yeah. So it looks like the it's definitely a skeleton. You can just make that out, but it stood almost like a guard, and
Okay,
it's.
so it is in the upright position then.
Oh yes, most definitely. The other thing that you notice, so hang on just one second. The other thing that you notice in this room, and you can see it quite clearly now, is the flagstones. It looks like it's completely and utterly flagged out. And even when you step into past the archway, you notice that this whole area looks very refined. Everything's fitting very concisely together, and as you passed underneath the archway, you notice that on your side of it, before you entered, around there seemed to be something etched into the stone. It looked like it had been chiseled in, and there was a series of characters. There was 4 of them on either side. Sorry, 2 on either side, 4 of them on the sides altogether, and then there was a different one up on the keystone up at the top. Okay, so
were any of them what we have seen before, or what Gulliver might have seen before? So I'm thinking of the one of the markings that were in the tomb when we went to get the thigh bone.
The one with the
one with the Muriel.
Right, the snake one. Yeah, no.
Yeah. And I'm also thinking of the ones that were in the Knights Templar.
No, they don't look anything like that at all. It looks like it's a completely different language.
Just what do they look like? I mean, is it just symbols, or is it writing, or would I be able to?
It's technically, it almost likes, to give you a modern day equivalent, it almost like looks like Egyptian hieroglyphs.
Hieroglyphics, yeah.
So it's very pictorial, but very well crafted.
There's no sort of death's heads on these pictures.
No, there seems to be symbols like 2 zigzag lines, one on top of each other, and what appears to be something like a bird. and there seems to be one that is sort of like 2 trees, and there seems to be another one that seems to be something about it's got a circle on it with almost like the symbol for female, but the cross is up at the top, almost like if you know your Ordnance Survey maps, like a church with
like
a spire.
church, yeah. Or the whole hand grenade of Antioch.
Yeah, and it's totally peculiar. You haven't seen anything. Your feeling is either that it's a completely different language that you haven't seen before, and also both of everybody as you go through almost like think it's very old, extremely old.
Gulliver's going to turn around and almost in a whisper, because I think everybody took a torch, even though everybody didn't light one. So he's going to say to Bartleby in a whisper, "Bartleby, your torch."
That was all I was carrying. So Bartleby just holds up the torch, the unlit torch.
Cool.
Holds it out to Gulliver.
Okay then. So I'm just going to move you guys slightly into the room, and the reason I'm moving you slightly into the room is so I can fit everybody else in, and I'll also make sure that Bartleby, you've got light now, okay, and therefore Tobias and Hengist don't have light. I'll just move you all a little bit in, and then I can fit Laram and Fineal in the back. So Bartleby, you should have light, yeah? If you just move yourself backwards and forwards, you should be able to see. Yeah, that's cool. Hessaret, you don't have light, I don't think. Hengist, I don't think. No, you don't have light either. No. Yeah. Okay then.
So I've got a torch, but I've not lit it.
Yeah, cool. So that's exactly what you see, and as you sort of like step further into the chamber, you can see more clearly this skeleton up at the top here.
Okay, so once Bartleby has lit his torch from Gulliver's, Gulliver wants to try to throw his torch into the room.
Cool. Okay, I'm just putting Laram's on. Yeah. So whereabouts are you aiming it?
He wants to aim for the darkness, of course, but he's going to throw it directly in front of him, sort of like in this direction. If don't know whether or not you can
okay
see.
Then yeah, so that would be almost like 9 meters ahead of you.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you just ping roughly where you want it, and then so I've got that location. Okay, there. Okay then, so now just roll your streetwise throwing skill, and let's see where it goes. Yeah, so you chuck it, and everybody's quite impressed with your hurl of this torch, and the torch sort of like goes flying through the air, almost like head over heels, and then it lands in the right where you wanted it to go. So after that lovely critical roll, so just 1 second, I'm just making it sure that it's got its 9 meters of light, and everyone can see it, and then you should get it. Oh, so you don't have your torch now?
I don't have my torch now. Bartleby has one. Laran has one.
Yeah, so hang on, let me just take your light off you. Okay, and then here should appear fingers crossed, the light.
Yeah.
I will pass Gulliver my torch that I have.
Right. Okay then. So you're passing your torch. So yours is coming off you. Oh, sorry. That I've just taken it off the wrong person. Are you lighting another torch,
Gulliver's
Gulliver?
going to say, no, I'm not lighting one.
Okay then.
So Bartleby's got one at the moment,
Yeah.
and I'm stood sort of like right next to him.
Yeah. So that's fine. So Hessaret, are you? Did you say you're passing Gulliver a torch?
You're muted.
Sorry, an unlit torch, yeah.
Okay then, yeah, so you sort of like walk over there, and Gulliver, you've now got Hessaret's unlit torch if you wish to put it somewhere.
Yeah, he'll take off his backpack and put it in before putting his backpack back on.
Cool.
Bartleby is going to, with wonder in his eyes, he's going to kind of start walking out in the middle of the room as this torch inventory management.
Yeah. Okay then, so just let me tell you what you can actually see, because you can actually see something now here.
Where, sorry? Oh, yeah.
Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay then. So it's blocking the your sight from beyond. But what you notice is that there is what appears to be a huge painting that seems to be held up on like a wooden frame. It almost looks like it's some kind of cloth that's been painted on and erected across the majority of the cavern, as you can see. The scale is to scale, and what you notice is that it appears to be almost like a bear skin in the middle, and that seems to be attached to some kind of cloth behind it, and round the cloth there appears to be several runes, very similar to the ones that you saw round the archway. You also notice that in front of it there's what appears to be like a low stone table, and on here there's appears to be a chalice. There appears to be what appears to be an oil burner. Okay, so it's like a flat teapot, and you can see that obviously it would have a wick that is into the oil in the middle, and you would light it on the end of the spout, and that would give you a flame. You can see that as well. There's also a whole load of crossed decorative spears. They're quite long spears, and they seem to have ornate, almost like dream catchers and things like that. They're tied just below the spear head, and they're crossed over, two on one side and two on the other side, and then right in the middle of the stone table in front of you appears to be the bust of a beautiful woman, as in shoulders and head, not anything else. And it's only when Bartleby steps a little bit further and the light hits these things, you notice that the chalice, the oil lamp, and the bust of the beautiful woman are made of gold, and the light just hits it, and it's just sort of like shimmers and shines all over the whole of the place. And you hear from the back two sort of like sharp intakes of breath, because it's obviously worth a huge amount of money, because as you know, in Mythras, silver is the common currency. You know, gold is very rare. Bartleby, you do step forward slightly, and you should be able to see something now on the southern side as well.
Yeah. Looks like another one of those statues, maybe?
Yeah. These, you can tell now quite clearly that they're, everybody can see this now, they're not, nothing's propping these up. Nothing at all. They are stood completely upright. They're armoured, and they seem to have a shield on one hand and what appears to be a long spear on the other hand. You do also notice that they have broadswords on their belts in scabbards, and they appear to be completely skeletal, and they're just sort of like stood there. I'll just put the table on for you so you can see exactly where that is. So that's where the table is.
Is there any similarity between these ones and the ones that we met in the other tomb?
The snake tomb.
Yes.
Similarities with what? The glyphs or the skeletons?
The skeletons, how they...
No, if anything, when you're looking at them, they seem to be in a very similar attire to the people you saw in your visions, in your dreams, when you were in the middle of the swamp.
So the barbarians or the slaves?
More like the barbarians.
Barbarians, right.
Okay, Gulliver's going to reach into his tunic and take out his disc that he uses to, if he needs to channel one of his sorcery spells.
Cool.
Would I be able to, or I might not know, would I be able to hold one of those swords that they have in their scabbard, one-handed?
It's definitely a one-handed weapon. Whether or not you would be able to wield it.
I mean, not like actually combat swinging. I'm more of just, would I be able to hold it up without looking like a strength 10 doofus?
What is your strength?
10.
Right, I see what you mean.
It would go more on your size. As long as size is of a certain, as long as you're a certain size, you'll be able to hold it one-handed. If it's not, then you would have to hold it two-handed.
You think these are probably one-handed weapons, but they, from where you're stood, Bartleby, they certainly look like they are quite heavy. You know, they're not piffling little swords. They look very. It looks like they can do some serious harm.
I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. See if I can. The one I want to draw from is up here at the top left.
Yeah, go for it.
I will
draw a
follow
sword
behind him because I'm intrigued by what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, my only goal here is to draw it and hold it a little bit and just kind of have it equipped. In my offhand then would be the lit torch.
Oh, cool. Okay, just 1 second.
Unless, of course, I get my hands chopped off by this creature.
Yeah.
It's okay. I wouldn't mind its spear for now, and I can put my saber away.
I just need to find what roll it is.
If it helps, my size is also a 10.
Cool.
Thanks.
Just out of interest, Mr. Bartleby, having your hands chopped off, would it make a difference to the way you use your hands now, or can you use your hands fully still?
It's incredibly hurtful.
No, I don't mean it that way. I'm sorry. I tend to be quite abrupt sometimes, and sometimes I come across that way. Sorry. You can still.
I was once a fantastic musician.
Okay, guys. Right. Could Hessaret and Oh, let's do it this way. Can everybody please roll a perception roll? You need to get standard or greater, just so you know. Okay, so the only person who actually made that is you, Bartleby, isn't it? Am I right there? Yeah. Okay then, so just one second. Okay, so next what I would like you to do, could everybody roll for me initiative, and make sure you click on your character so I get it on the turn order. Okay then, this let me just rearrange you so you're in some kind, I think that's the right order, isn't it? Yeah, okay then. So you need to think about this, because make sure you've recorded somewhere on a scrap piece of paper what your initial initiative is. Okay, because it will be coming back after the first combat round. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to say happens, and you'll see why in a second. Could anybody who failed their perception roll, could you deduct 10 from your initiative because you are technically surprised? Okay.
Yeah. I'm surprised I've got 14 initiative.
I'm sorry, I just need to put Tobias is on.
You click on your number in the turn order and just
just
4 and then hit enter. It'll change it. There we go.
Cool. Okay then. So people like Hengist, you will now, because you're less than 0, you will not get any actions on this first combat round. Everything else will go according to plan. However, if you were surprised, okay, you can only do defending actions. Okay, so you can't on the first combat round. Okay, so you can use your action points to actually defend yourself, but you can't make any attacks due to the surprise. Okay, so we're going to head straight into the first combat round. And what happens is, as you approach the skeleton, nothing happens until you actually reach for the sword, Bartleby. At that point, the skeletons, not just one of them, all of them, almost like snap to attention. And you see them all sort of like turn towards the party, as if they've got their long spears in their right hand and their shields in the left hand, and they almost like level off the long spears horizontally, sort of like aiming at people. Just one second, I just need to put their initiative on. Thank you.
Could you do them like in a stop animation thing as well?
Yeah, by all means. Let's just put like, I think that is correct. So Bartleby, they've got 13 initiative. So Bartleby, you will automatically react in any case. Before, so what happens is that you go to reach for the sword, and the skeleton almost like comes to a ready position, and sort of like its jaw drops, and it almost like gives out, sort of like goes like that, and there's a slight rattle in its jaw as that happens. And so you're ready to go now. So Bartleby, what would you like to do?
quick question on the mechanics, real quick. If I were to let out a squeal and sprint, would I have to roll evade to get out of melee combat? Or are we okay?
Yes. You would have to. You're now physically in combat because you would have to be that close to actually try to grab the sword.
Well, I'm not terribly good at evading, but I'm great at screaming. So I'm going to go ahead and try with that plan.
Cool.
And if I fail, I intend to use luck to some degree.
Okay.
Okay, 14. One reroll with a spin of luck.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you failed. So yeah, so you can re-roll it if you wish, and lose a luck.
Almost.
Right. Yeah. So okay, so you sort of like try to stagger back in order to try to get away, and the skeleton just sort of like keeps with you, and then it comes up to its turn. So that's your first action point for in turn 1 gone. Yeah.
Correct.
So he thrusts out his spear at you, and it does hit. Do you wish to evade or parry?
See, parry, I would just have my torch. Be at 27. I'm gonna go with my parry.
Okay then. Yeah. So what's your weapon skill? What's your weapon style? What's it to do with? It's your club, isn't it? Yeah.
I was hoping that a torch might be equivalent to
a
club.
Yeah, that's what I was checking. Yeah, I'm happy for that to happen. So yeah, go for it.
Excellent. And defensive roll.
Do you wish to luck it?
Would that make a difference here mechanically?
It would mean that you succeed. So, and I've succeeded. So it means that looking at your size of the weapon, it would determine where the weapon would take the damage and how much is coming through to you. So its long spear is a large weapon. Your club is likely to be medium. So
yeah, that's sort of...
it will stop. I think, just from the top of my head, I think that will stop half the damage coming through.
Yeah, let's go ahead and burn through another luck point.
Yeah, so parrying, hang on, I've just found the table. Defending weapon is medium, is large. So yeah, so it will stop half the damage of this coming through. So whatever I roll, it will then be halved. So this is coming straight to your head, and the damage is going to be this. 6 points damage, so that would go down to 3.
Oh, mi cabeza. Oh, no.
Do you have any armor in that location?
Oh, I do. That's a good thing to note. Okay, that's not as bad then. I have 2 armor on my head from...
Okay then, so 3 points, so you take 1 point, which will just be a minor wound. So as the spear comes jabbing straight towards your head, you manage to move it slightly. You bring your club up and your torch up, and it sort of like skids over the torch, and you manage to deflect it a little bit, and it just sort of like hits your helmet a little way, but you still feel the indentation into your head, where you take 1 point of damage. Okay, now, oh yeah, this one here uses its action point to move. And Hessaret, as it starts to move, you notice that a javelin comes flying past you, straight to the actual
the wall.
Yeah, 53 he gets, which is good enough to hit. Does somebody want to just roll a hit location and damage for Laram, please?
Oh.
Yeah, in the skeleton's right arm, his damage with a javelin is 1d8 plus 1 plus 1d4.
Eight points.
8 points of damage in what? His right arm.
Yeah.
Okay, that the right arm has no armor on it at all, which takes it down to a serious wound. This is the skeleton's endurance roll.
Which one's this come up? Sorry.
This one here.
Right.
It fails its endurance roll. So its arm is now useless. So its right arm will be what his spear's in, and you notice that it suddenly goes in. Actually, you need to roll 2 rolls. Sorry, can you just roll it again? Because Laram would use impale on it. You might get higher than 8. No, so 8 points, yeah. So it sort of like whacks into its bone. It sort of like lodges in the elbow joint. And Hessaret, you notice, and Bartleby, you hear the spear clatter to the floor, and that character is out. Laram was on 18, so that's all happening at the same time. You also notice that these two are moving towards the party. Okay, Fineal is next up, and you hear her drawing knives behind you, Hengist. She seems to be arming herself with some kind of throwing knife. Gulliver, you're up.
Okay, so Gulliver already has his disc in his hand from when he entered, so he is going to start casting a spell.
You can't. You must. Did you fail your perception?
All right. Yeah.
You're only allowed to take defensive action, so you can move, or you can ready a weapon, but you can't start doing anything that would mean it could be damaging.
Right. I won't diver. I'll defend myself.
Yeah, you'll use it. You'll hold your action. Yeah. Right. Hessaret, what would you like to do?
Right. I am stood right next to Bartleby, so the first thing I want to do before I do anything is grab him and pull him out of the way.
No.
No. Okay.
That would be seen as not a defensive action because...
Oh, defensive. My apologies. Sorry. Yeah. In which case, all I can do is dither.
Okay.
And hope that if anything tries to hit Bartleby, I will try to defend that blow.
Okay then. And Tobias seems to draw his dagger that his hand's been on, and Hengist doesn't have an action this round. Okay then. So the next turn... so this is now turn 2. Okay, combat turn 2, still on combat round 1. So you're all still defensive actions only. Okay then. Laram, he goes first. Does somebody just want to roll a 1d 100 for me? Just so you know, I'll tell you what he'll need. His skill with his with everything is 69. So he's got 3 javelins. Yeah, so he hits the same skeleton again. So I need location.
Oh, I'm just rolling damage.
Yeah, roll damage, that's all right. But remember, you need to roll it twice because he'll be trying to impale. So the first one's 6. The second one is...
Oh, that I hit it twice. I hit... Oh, no, that's right. No, I rolled the 4s twice.
Okay, then, so what's the 2 damages? 6 and 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be the 6. Do me a location, please.
Right arm again.
Yeah, okay then. So that whacks into his right arm, and that will actually take it off. So Hessaret, you see another javelin. This time, rather than going from the elbow, it goes for the shoulder, and the whole arm of the skeleton just sort of like drops to the ground, just like that, and then that's absolutely it. Right, Bartleby, you're up next.
I'm not used to being a frontline warrior, but I think I'm out of action points because I tried to evade and then I tried to parry. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes. So you're out of action points if you've only got 2.
Yep.
Yeah. So okay then. So you can do nothing. The skeleton therefore comes to hit you. Hessaret, you can make a parry. And
oh please.
No,
yep.
we'll just see whether or not it hits first. That's,
okay.
Yes, it does hit.
Okay, I will try to put my blade on myself in front of what's coming in.
It'll be your blade, yeah.
Yep. Sorry, just there we go.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you actually get a critical defense against me.
Nice.
Gosh, critical defense.
Do you have the rule book and paper over there? That's super cool.
Just to let you, decide what you're going to do with it, Hessaret. This blow's coming into your right leg, by the way, Bartleby.
Cool. My right leg?
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's not the knee I messed up earlier on our hike.
Could I do a force failure, which the opponent fumbles combined with no? Oh, because you got to fumble, I think, first, so ignore that.
So you've got blind opponent, you've got enhanced parry, which might be a good one.
Yes, yeah.
Because I think, just off the top of my head, I think enhanced parry adds increases the size of your weapon by 1.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Yeah,
yes.
On a critical, the defender manages to deflect the entire force of the attack, no matter the size of the weapon. So yeah, so this you suddenly look down and see this spear coming straight to your leg, which would have done 9 points of damage. Even if it was halved, it would have done 4 points of damage to your leg. But just as it's about to hit you, you notice that Hessaret's scimitar comes down and almost like knocks it downwards and out towards him. It doesn't hit him, but he actually parries the blow and saves your leg. These now...
I have you covered, Bartleby, my friend.
These now move forward. Okay, and that's the end of combat round 1. Okay, because nobody else has got any action. So what you need to do, we're going into combat round 2, turn 1. So now, guys, you need to change your initiatives back to what they were. Yeah. Okay, do I need to change any? Oh yeah, hang on.
Mine doesn't seem to want to change.
Oh yeah, I can do it. What was it, 15?
15, yeah.
Let's move you up then. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay then. So this is combat round 2 now. Turn 1. Oops, hang on, let me just think. So everybody's back now to normal points and initiative, etc, etc. The 3 that are stood in front of you have not made the movement to actually get to you. Just so you know. Right, Laram goes first, I think. Yeah, and he steps forward. That's his movement. That's his first action on the round. Bartleby, you're up.
I'm gonna give a swing of my torch, and I'm gonna, in my offhand, I guess, I'm gonna just try and double hand it and smack him as hard as I can.
Okay, so this is your attack. Go for it.
Like we did on the streets.
If you use a point of luck, it will give you a standard success.
Yeah, and that would be my last point of luck for the session. I'm just gonna go ahead and go for it. I want to hurt this skeleton. No more luck. Standard success.
I'm all out of luck.
I'm so lost without you. Yeah. Right. You need to do hit location, and you need to do special.
According to my notes, the special I would like to do is
Probably stun location, I would have thought.
Yep, that's exactly it. Stun. If I do at least 1 point of damage. And here is my attack roll.
I need your location first in any case.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. My bad. That's a terrible roll, anyways.
It is, yeah.
Do you want me to roll d20?
Yeah. They're basically humanoid, so don't worry about it.
Okay. 4.
4, which is his left leg, is it not? Just let me check one thing very quickly.
Yep. Left leg.
Yeah. So you sort of like swing it at his left leg, and you don't do any damage at all because it bashes into his shield. In any case, he's obviously that shield is probably protecting that side of his body. In any case, Gulliver, you're up.
So, being able to act now, Gulliver's going to hold out the disc in front of him, and he's going to start casting a spell.
Okay, so spell prep. Yeah. Okay. Got you. Yeah. Hessaret, you're up. This skeleton, by the way, Hessaret, is now focused more on you because it almost like looks as if you grab. I'm going to say that because of your wonderful critical defense. And
superiority.
And plus Bartleby sort of like tapped it on the side of its shield. He doesn't see Bartleby as a threat at the moment until it's dispatched you.
I think that Mr. Bartleby is a very serious threat.
Yeah.
But that I was here to hit this with my scimitar.
Yeah, cool. So this is an attack. That'll go. So you'll have one special and
location.
Location. And tell me your special first.
Oh, in fact, could I choose location? Sorry.
Yeah, by all means, go for it.
I'm going to go for right leg, please.
Right leg. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Good choice. Okay, do me some damage. 5 points of damage in its right leg. So its right leg is not armored. Okay, and it takes a flesh wound or a bone nick.
A chip.
Yeah.
My bladed.
Yeah.
From base.
It looks as if it's still. It looks just like a minor wound that it's gone for. Okay then. So these are the skeletons now. So this is the skeleton roll at you, Hessaret. And it hits. Do you wish to parry?
I will do I will do my best to parry.
Cool.
Here we go. I will use a point of luck, please, to parry.
Exactly. Excellent. Tell me, what's your size of your weapon?
Medium.
Medium. So this is half damage that is coming, and it's coming to your head.
No.
2 points of damage to your head.
That's fine.
Okay. Cool. The one this skeleton goes into combat with Tobias, and this skeleton, Gulliver, comes into combat with you. That's its movement. So that's been its action. The skeleton with Laram takes a hit at him, and let me just roll some dice. Yeah, he takes a hit with him, but misses altogether. And Laram, I'll tell you what Laram does next. In any case, Tobias has drawn his dagger. Could somebody just roll a 1d100 for him, please?
I'll do it.
His skill is 45. No, he misses. He does have 3 points of luck if you would like to.
Yes, please, reverse it.
I want to save those for Hengist.
I'm sure Tobias have a self-survival instinct to go, yes, point of luck, twist it, please.
What, do you want him to use one?
Yes, please.
Okay then, so he's got 2 points left. So that'll be a hit. I need to do. He's got one special. He'll probably roll for location. He's not a combat expert, but his dagger does 1d4 plus. No, sorry, he's got his short sword out, which does 1d6.
Okay, what's this thing armed with a shield on its left-hand side?
He's got a shield and a long spear, but. Tobias wouldn't think of hitting it anywhere else. He's just pleased that he's hit, so just roll a hit location. He's not a combat person. He's more of a face person, if that makes sense.
And a quiet stabby.
Yeah, so he sort of like takes a swing at the right leg, and he just gets parried by the skeleton's shield. At the same time, you notice that Fineal chucks. Could somebody roll a 1d100, please? Because I don't want to be doing them all the time. Her skill, just so you know, is 42.
39.
She sort of like throws a dagger at the skeleton in front of you, Gulliver. Hit location, please.
Will that hit if she's thrown it into melee?
Oh, there's no melee at the moment.
All right.
It hits the right leg and gets thrown off the shield. In any case, I see where you're going with it, but yeah, it just hits off the shield. And Hengist, you're up.
Cool. Hengist, having shaken off the surprise, is going to move into combat next to Gulliver there.
Okay, so you're moving into combat. Cool. Right, I think that's the end of combat turn 1. So we're into combat turn 2. Laram can. What did he do? He attacked. Yeah, so he can attack again. Roll his dice. So on. He's 69. He does have some luck if you want him to use it.
No, he's not going to.
He has 2 luck points if you want him to use it. No? Okay then, so he hits and misses. Bartleby, you're up.
I'm going to go ahead and try and get a smack down.
Sorry, just to let you know, you can now actually move away because you're not in combat. The skeleton is actually in combat with Hessaret, who for some unknown reason has a token smaller than everybody else's.
It's because I'm hiding.
I'll just make you a little bit bigger. Just a touch.
Oh. In that case,
Do you know, there's a wonderful clip somewhere that in the D&D 5th edition game, Cryptex is playing his ranger, and the sorcerer enlarges him, and he's like, his face is like a picture. He just like goes, "What? You enlarged me?" You know, so it's worth going back to having a look at. Yes, Bartleby, what would you like to do?
In this case, I'm going to move back to kind of hide behind Hessaret. I know I can't do another action, but my intention next round is to begin praying once I get back there.
Okay then. So you're a move disengage out of combat. Gulliver, you're up.
Gulliver's going to suspend his second turn spell casting.
Okay then.
Turn or round.
Turn. Yeah. Turn 2 we're on. Combat round 2 as well. So that's Gulliver. Hessaret, you're up.
I will take a swing at the skeleton again, please.
Cool.
Click and where are we?
Nice hit. One special and location, please.
Wonderful. We'll go for choose location and the same leg as before, please.
Nice. Good decision. Okay, go for it. 2 points. Right. That takes it down to a serious wound. So it has to make an endurance check against your original dice roll, which is 14. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it will roll if its endurance, just so you know. Oh, but it's 57. It gets 95, so it fails. So this skeleton is now prone on the floor. So
it's favouring me tonight. Once you're
Can I
alive.
ask a mechanics question?
Yeah, by all means.
Do surprise rounds class for fatigue?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So at the end of this combat turn, these sets of turns, at the end of this combat round, it will be fatigue time.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah. That was Hessaret done. So your skeleton can't fight back because it's fatigued. It's prone on the floor. The skeletons near Laram and Tobias are busy exchanging blows. You notice that nobody can notice anything. You need to decide who's going to be odds or even.
Odd.
Even. So this blow comes to you, Gulliver. You're preparing a spell, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
So if you take a defensive can you take defensive actions when you're preparing a spell? There's a list of things that you can do when you're spell casting, and there's a list of things that Oh no, sorry, yes. So to totally disrupt casting normally requires the magician to be injured or mentally aborted. The chance of it depends on the precise thing. So if you take you can take a reactive action to this, because you are allowed to move at your walking pace, perform free or reactive actions while casting a spell. But if you take damage, then your spell is actually... if it's a minor wound, you must make a willpower check. The caster makes a willpower check. Failure makes the casting 1 level difficult. So you still cast it, but instead of being standard, it'd be hard. Okay, if you take a wound. So the first thing I need to know is whether or not you are taking... a defensive action against the roll. Well, what I'll do is that I'll roll it first for you. They have 69. So it's going to hit you.
Okay.
What do you wish to do?
I'll use a point of luck to make you re-roll.
Cool, yeah. Second roll. 43, still hits.
I'll take the hit.
You're not doing a reactive roll?
No, because my only reactive roll that I could do is evade, and then that'll put it out. completely because that'll put me prone.
Yes, it would, but you would still be able to cast your spell because it's taken as a reactive action.
I don't get that. I throw yourself on the floor. You can't just step back and take it.
No, all evades assume that
diving out of the way.
Yeah, and so how I imagine it happening is that if Gulliver was successful in making his evade on the next turn, because remember, one combat round is 5 seconds.
That's right. Yeah.
So what I imagine it doing is that the skeleton would go for hit it. He would dodge out the way, and as he's falling to the ground, he will finish his spell.
Gotcha.
And blast. That's how I would envisage it. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So are you going to evade, Gulliver?
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay, cool.
No.
Okay then. So
am I also prone now?
Yes, you are prone.
Right.
This comes into your left arm. And it does 5 points of damage to your left arm.
Okay, that puts me. That takes out the first slot.
Okay, how many hit points do you have in your arm in any case?
I have 3 after that.
3, so it's a serious wound.
Yeah.
So you have 3 total hit points, yeah?
I have 6. I have 3 hit points in it.
Yeah, 3 hit points. So therefore, it's 2 over. So it's a serious wound. It's not a major wound. So in which case, you need to make a endurance check. You need to succeed, and my initial roll was 43. You do succeed, but I still win with my 43. So that limb is now useless. Did you have anything in it? Oh, hang on. No. Roll a 1d3, please. Because you have Bartleby's protection spell on you.
Even I forgot about that.
I've just noticed the icon now. Just 2. So you take 3 points of damage.
Which
you also hear a
0.
0. Yeah. Yeah. So as the spear comes flying towards your right arm, there's a flash of light as Amriel's protection does it, but the spear still comes through, so you're down to 0 hit points on that, which unfortunately is still a serious wound. So it's still exactly what happened. Did you say you had anything in that arm?
My left one, no.
No. Okay then. So that's fine then. So you're now prone. So you sort of like try desperately to get out the way. He rams his spear into your arm. There's a flash of light that protects some of the damage, but you end up prone on the floor with rather a sore arm, and you don't have your protection anymore. Yeah, Tobias and Fineal are Fineal is going to move to here to fight alongside Laram, and Hengers, you're up.
Cool. So just seeing.
Sorry, just 1 second. Gulliver, please. Can you make a will check? Willpower check. Okay, that succeeds, so you can still cast your spell, but it is now 1 grade harder. So you will now cast it as a hard.
But casting it from prone doesn't.
No, because it's like what I said before. This is all happening in 5 seconds.
Right.
Everything. So like I said before, you sort of like dodge to one side, the spear's gone in you, there's been a flash, and then what will happen now is that either you'll make the roll and cast the spell, or it'll fail. And in which case that would be the thing. Just to let you know, if you failed that, it would have been 2 grades harder. Okay, for that willpower check. Sorry, Hengis.
That's right. So seeing the spear just suddenly go through and bury itself deep into Gully's left arm, Hengist is going to let out a huge roar, and then he's going to attack with
cool.
unarmed combat because he hasn't got his sword out.
And you.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
No, okay. So you what are you fighting with then? Just your.
I haven't got my sword out, so I've just had to. So what he's done a huge roar, and he's tried to push on the skeleton's shield.
Oh right, so he's okay, cool. That's everybody. So this is now combat turn 3. Laram doesn't, Bartleby doesn't, Gulliver you do, so make your spell casting roll please. Remember it's 1 level harder now, so it's hard. Yes, you make your spell casting roll. What spell's coming off?
So the spell that's coming off is Rack, which is up. I'd linked it up above.
Yeah, cool.
So natural armor.
Roll your hit location first.
So as Gulliver sort of like on the floor.
No, it's actually as you're falling to the floor.
Right. Okay.
You sort of like release the spell, and you sort of like in great heroic fashion. And whereabouts does it hit him?
Okay, so this is there's 3 coming out.
Cool.
So it's hitting all 3.
Nice.
So this is the top one.
So his left leg. And what's the next one? Let's do them all 3, and then we know what's happening. Chest, and the other 2 in his chest. Okay, then tell me about armor.
So if it's armor, if it's natural or magical armor points,
it's neither.
Right. So if it's neither,
it's just like a metal breastplate.
Okay. So this is the damage from top to.
So this is left leg first, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
4 points.
4 points, yeah. Chest next. 3 points, yeah, and another chest. Another 3 points. Okay, yeah. It still stood up, and it seems to have you sort of like those tendrils are shot out and are sort of like wrapping around its sort of like rib cage, and you can hear as they sort of like crackle, you can hear like bones beginning to snap, and he seems to have suffered some kind of minor wound in those locations. And Hengist, do you have any points left?
I've got 1 left.
Okay, then go for it.
So he's now going to use this point to draw his sword.
Okay, so he'll have his sword out ready for next round. Excellent.
I have a point left.
Oh, sorry, Hessaret. Yeah, did you have a point? Yeah.
I'm unforgettable.
No, sorry. Sorry, Gulliver sent me a Discord message that said "kill Hessaret," so I was just.
I'm used to that. Hensley's dead. Right. What? So this one in front of me is out on prone at the moment.
Yeah.
So, out of character, can I ask? Can I charge and bash into the one after hearing Gully scream?
Okay, then. In order to charge, you have to take your complete combat round to charge.
Right. So it's not.
So
I was thinking 5 seconds to get to somebody. It's like quite a.
It's quite a good old run to sort of like pile into him.
Right.
I just don't like to say it wasn't me who screamed.
The other thing,
There was a little girl behind you.
the other thing that I would say in this situation is that you're likely to re-hit the skeleton because you're not actually aware of what's happening behind you at all.
In which case I will then. I will just go and finish off the skeleton, or do my best to anyway.
What's the bonuses for hitting prone?
I don't know.
I have a funniest feeling it's +4, but I don't want to.
+4?
400 he meant.
Sorry,
I thought it made it 1 grade harder to defend.
Yeah, hang on. I've got it here now.
Free location, instant decapitation. And
Attack it. Yeah. See, attacking a helpless target, it's automatic. You automatically hit. If fighting while prone, it's formidable. If you're defending while on lower ground, it's hard. Okay, what did you take out of this guy?
It was his leg, wasn't it? Right leg, because his left leg was protected.
Okay then, so what I'm going to say is that he is down, but he's not helpless.
No.
So his defense would be one level harder.
I'd assume he got his shield there to block.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So go away and roll.
Don't go away.
Sorry, go ahead and roll. Sorry, it's really hard when Gulliver's sending you messages.
Oh, so there's my to hit, which is a miss.
Yeah, unless you want to look it.
I will look it, please. If you don't
Okay,
mind.
yeah. So that's a hit. So you'll have one special. Where would you like to hit him?
I shall go for location. Right arm, please.
Okay, right arm. Yep. Cool.
That's spear arm.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Do some damage for me.
Sorry. There we go.
4 points of damage. Yeah. So he's sort of like that's the arm that he's sort of like propping himself up on, and he's got his shield up over his head, and you just sort of like almost like drive down onto the shield, but then move your sword slightly to one side, almost like feinting the attack, and then swing it back, and it sort of like whacks his arm. It doesn't take the arm out, but he sort of like staggers down a bit. Yeah, anybody else got any actions left?
I'd like to use a point of luck.
Yeah.
To buy another action point.
Yeah, cool.
And then
I'll redo the damage, yeah?
I'll use that to channel more power through the...
Yeah, cool. So left leg first. And then we'll go chest, because that's the order.
2.
2 points. Okay. And do the chest as well.
2.
2, and do the chest again.
2.
Okay then. So what he's got now? He's got a serious wound in his left arm, his left leg. Then he's got one serious wound on his chest. Then another serious wound on his chest. Okay. So he's going to have to make 3.
These are all separate ones, isn't it?
Yeah. So he's going to have to make 3 rolls. Okay then. So what was your initial? His endurance is 44.
My initial thing was 27.
Okay then. So first one fails. So his he's still stood up, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's now prone, because that leg collapses. So he's now down on the floor, and then this is his first one for his chest, which fails again. So he needs to make an endurance roll again, and I'm going to say that this is 1 level harder now, because he's taking serious.
We can't see your rolls.
No, it's all right. You can see he actually gets an 81, which means he fails. Which means that you actually on the second one sort of like punches. I'm just going to do his last roll. Yeah, and he fails on that one. So your tendrils, the first tendril snaps his leg, and the skeleton falls to one side, and then your 2 other tendrils sort of like electrocute or crush his rib cage and his spine, and it just sort of like goes. And there's this
separate ones though. Yeah.
Say again, sorry.
These are on separate. So the first one came to the top one, and then the second one came to the middle one. I attacked 3 different targets.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant you attacked the same one.
No, I can't do that. It has to.
Right.
3 different targets.
Okay then. So all right. So
Sorry.
okay. So this.
I thought the same. Sorry.
So this one is prone, so that's fine. So you did 3, and then you did 3 points and 3 points, didn't you?
Yeah.
So that's 8.
Now they've taken 5.
Yeah. Yeah. In which case, the other 2 are still up and completely healthy. Yeah. Sorry, I thought when you said all 3, you were fighting the one that you were
No.
attacking. So, okay then. Yeah. So that's the end of that round, isn't it? Now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're a 2-round person, so Gully, Hessaret, and Bartleby, you need to make endurance rolls for me, please. And if you fail it, increase your fatigue by... Oh, nice one, Hessaret. You're fit and healthy.
I gain super fatigue.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
get a free pass on the next one.
Yeah. Okay, so this is round 3. Gulliver, do you want to have a break there? Because I know your back's bad.
No, let's carry on.
Okay then, so we'll finish at the end of this combat then. Or just tell me, Gulliver, when you need to stretch your back, and then we can stop it. Okay then, so Laram carries on fighting his with Fineal with him. Bartleby, what did you wish to do?
Bartleby kind of went back to hide behind Hessaret, and having kind of the panic of this fight setting into him, he's got winded, so he's going to pray to Amriel to clear his head, or will soon be dead, which that prayer, of course, is this one. I'm going to go ahead and throw my roll on myself right here.
Yes.
Right.
So you actually have that already on you.
I had the perseverance.
All right. So that will remove your.
I presumed I didn't have perseverance going anymore. Otherwise, I wouldn't
Cool.
have gotten.
That's absolutely fine. So so that will remove your fatigue. Oh no, it won't.
Mm-mm.
No,
I'm fumbling and spitting on Hazard's
Yeah,
back.
yeah. So you just feel this damp bit of gob on your neck. And Gulliver, you're up.
Okay, so Gulliver will continue to.
Okay, so the one that's down, you need to relocate it, unless you want to carry on. No, you can carry on with that that location. It's still got hit points in it.
Okay, he'll carry on with that then.
Yeah.
So 3 points.
3 points. So he needs to make a. Yeah, so he's still prone, and it's virtually taken out that leg now.
Okay.
Then the one in front of Laram. Oh,
5
nice. So he needs to make an endurance check. Their endurance is exactly what I said before, which is 44. So do you know what your initial spell roll was?
27.
22. So he's still up. And then do another one for the one in front of Fineal. Nice. 6. That takes it down to a wound, a serious wound. And he rolls a 65, which means he fails. Which means that one, your electricity crushes again, and the rib cage just sort of like cracks to bits, and he sort of like falls down, equivalent of unconscious on the floor. Hessaret.
Hessaret is going to take another swing at the prone skeleton.
Cool.
So, yeah. That one.
And that's a hit.
Yep. So we shall choose location, and we shall go for right arm again, please.
Okay, cool. What's happening? What's happening at your house?
Sorry, no. The boy and the mother are having fun outside.
Oh, I thought there was.
Stop having fun.
Stop having fun! How dare you? Yeah. So you whack.
I go for it and just chip off the shield and bounce it.
Yeah, and
shades off.
And the you
crashed.
Kind of frozen.
Who's crashed?
Hello.
Your internet connection is unstable.
Whose?
That's what I just got across.
I got that as well.
I didn't.
Did you get my brief description of what happened? How it bounced off the
Yeah,
shield?
I heard everything. I haven't lost
Yeah.
anything at all. Yeah. So what I'm going to say is that you actually knock this arm again, and the skeleton is actually sort of like you knock it out the way, so he's actually prone on the floor. So what we're going to say is for the rest of this round, you'll just be able to hack into it and deplete it. That'll be Hessaret, and this one's on the floor, isn't it? So he's Gulliver, you've done yours, haven't you?
Yeah.
Right, Hengist, do your hit on the one down at the down on the floor. Yeah, so you whack it. Do some. You'll have one special on that.
Oh, special first.
Yeah.
Oh god, I was going to do something else, wasn't I? I don't remember what was it. No, I can't do that. That's thingy. I'm just going to do choose location head, I think.
Okay.
And then some damage.
Do some damage.
3 points.
3 points. This guy's still got his shield, hasn't he? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so it just whacks off his shield, and then that's it. Right, so these two are dead. Right, so what I'm going to say, guys, is that rather than sort of like drawing the combat on forever and ever and ever, it's obvious that you guys have got the upper hand now. And you know, there's one down, yours is down, this one is prone as well, so they're not going to actually be able to take any attacks. And Gulliver, you've got your spell round every single one of them, so again there's lots of sort of like bashing and hitting and snapping of bones. Hengist, Hengist, that will bring us to the end of round 3, so can you make your endurance check just so we get that done? So you will have a roll, a fatigue roll, and what I'm going to say is that you notice that by the end of that, by the end of this combat round, everybody, the skeletons are sort of like either still being pummeled to the ground or sort of like shattered, etc. You do notice that Tobias has what appears to be a wound, Gulliver. And you can see that Loram is wounded. It looks like minor wounds on him rather than serious wounds. And Fineal doesn't look like she's injured at all. And with that, and I apologise for being 20 minutes late, because I bet Mr. Pickles has even gone and got some food, hasn't he?
Mr. Pickles is he's been eating for the last.
He's
Bacon on the side there. That icing, it looks like a couple of buns he's got there.
It's a burger. It's always a burger.
No, is it a burger?
No, it looks like cake.
He's been baking.
It's essentially pizza dough that I made this morning with my bread maker, stuffed with mozzarella and some pizza.
Okay, guys. So if you're watching the stream, we're going to take a quick 10-minute break and let everybody stretch their stretch their legs and take on some sustenance. So we will be back in 10 minutes, so please do not go away. So. Oh, I know what it was. It was my timer to say that 10 minutes was up.
I thought I was late.
No, that blum bling that I heard was my timer saying that 10 minutes was up, because I just checked it. Excellent. So here we are. You managed to defeat, working together as a team with some very heroic actions and interceding on combat rolls with critical defense rolls and blinding spells. You managed to actually defeat the 4 skeletons, and I've put them red there so they're very clearly dead. I'm not removing them as such, but you can see where they are and where they've fallen.
That does worry me. Are they going to be back?
I couldn't possibly answer that question in either the positive or the negative until the moment occurs.
So yes.
Or as I say at work, I can neither confirm nor deny.
That's right.
Yeah. So they're lying there at the moment. Bartleby, at the beginning of this combat, I think you were going to go and take a sword off one of the skeletons.
I was. I may have triggered this entire catastrophe, and having.
Hang on. Let me just do this.
I think, Medivac, before you get a bit too. It was one of those things that it was either going to happen when someone went up and poked them, or when we got into the middle of the room.
Oh, yes, indeedy.
Or never happen at all.
Yeah, if we went down the middle without... Yeah.
When Tobias and Fineal picked up the gold statues.
Yeah, so talking about the gold statue, there is the gold bust on the table, and there's an oil lamp, and there's also, I've just forgotten what the other thing was. But anybody help me?
The chalice. I don't know with the big...
A chalice. Yes, a chalice. That's it. Yeah.
Well done, Pickles.
I do feel the urge to say you have chosen wisely.
When you sort of like looking at the skeleton's armor, etc., you do notice that a lot of the metallic areas of the skeletons are sort of like they got almost like that bluey encrustation on it, almost as if it's it started to go rusty or oxidizing in the air. So you figure that these creatures or these guardians have been stood on guard for a substantial amount of time.
Gulliver's going to remain seated with his back up the wall, and he's going to rest until his fatigue is gone. So
okay, yeah. So
7-8 minutes.
8 minutes. Yeah.
I'm going to turn around and say, Bartleby, my friend, can you do anything for the injured? And after I've said that, I want to disarm the skeleton in front of me.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Hessaret, and you can go around and probably do that for the majority of them and remove their spears and shields. Yeah, you do as you get closer to them, you do notice that some of their bones are actually very grey in colour, and it's obvious that they have been stood around for a huge amount of time. Who's got the longest fatigue then? Gulliver is 8 minutes, yeah? Is that right?
Yeah, that's just one level.
I'm 8 minutes, and I would like to rest.
Okay then, so we'll say then that Fineal binds Laram's wounds. She's quite proficient in first aid, so that's fine. Tobias has got some minor wounds on his arms as well. Apart from that, everybody else is...
I will use my first aid on Tobias if nobody else will.
Yeah, cool. If you roll your first aid skill for me then, please. Yeah, you managed to bind his wounds, and then roll a 1d3 for me. 1d3s always take a lifetime to roll.
because we don't have anything to press. Could roll a 1d6 and do odds and evens.
Are you doing it, Hessaret?
You might be a little muted.
You missed out the slash.
You need to do / roll, or / R. I do it as well. 1d3. Oh yeah, so he gets 3 points back on his left arm. Yeah, which heals it up. It's not completely healed, but it's good enough. Yeah, so
Sorry, I muted then. Sorry.
and then everybody waits and removes their fatigue. So don't forget to remove your fatigue, guys. And yeah, and so you've got the rest of the room. You've got a torch, Bartleby, and Laram goes back and picks up his torch, and there's still the torch that's burning in the middle of the room.
Is it apparent after kind of taking inventory of what's gone on that Gulliver's still seriously wounded?
Gulliver, what's your wound status?
My left arm is on 0.
Yeah, so it's quite obvious that Gulliver's left arm has a serious wound on it. That would be obvious. There's quite a lot of blood running from it, or it looks quite bruised and swollen at the moment.
Do it.
Then I would like to go to Gulliver and bring my goddess to fix his arm, if I can.
Yeah.
I'd like to take minutes, and I'd like to make a big show of it with my arms to make up for not being very loud.
Yeah, okay, then that's absolutely cool. Roll your roll.
First off, here is the prayer,
Thank
and
you.
I'm doing it on his arm. And
So
the goddess,
This will be your exhort, won't it? Yeah.
yes. Please, goddess, you got this.
Yes, she's got it. So that brings it completely back up to full Gulliver. On that location, it goes right the way up to 3 again. So yes.
Thank you, Bartleby.
It's not a problem. My goddess seems to smile upon you.
Ooh.
I knew I could rely on you.
Yeah, okay then. So everybody's healed up and rested while you're sat in this cavern. Torchlights are absolutely fine at the moment. So what would you like to do next?
Hasra is not going to make a move to these items. He wants to move to... he says. To over here. Is it some kind of entrance under the tunnel or something? So I want to just stand maybe just at the corner here.
Well, if you stand there, you'll be if you stand there, I can control click on you and see what you can actually see.
I don't want to go around the corner. I just want to just stand there guard while everybody who's more intelligent than me does what they need to do.
Yeah, so you can see where you are. It looks like this. The wooden frame thing that is that has the bear skin on and the cloth. It looks like it doesn't look like it's flush to the wall. So it looks like you can actually get round it, most definitely.
Okay. And just on a side note, if I picked up a spear from one of the skeletons, would I be able to use it, or would that be a weapon I cannot use?
What's your combat? What's your combat? Style.
It's the short spear.
So you would be able to use it, but all your rolls would be 1 level harder.
No, I won't in that case then.
Because it's similar, but it would be weighted different, etc. So you can use it. Well, somebody who didn't have short spear wouldn't be able to use it at all.
No,
Or would have to, yeah.
Gulliver's going to say to Bartleby, he's going to say, Bartleby, were you going to rob the skeletons?
I just wanted to know what a sword felt like. I wanted to feel like I was a knight, maybe.
Oh, bless Bartleby. Did you say you wanted to feel a knight?
feel like.
Oh, I was
If
going
I
to say,
wanted to feel a night, I could just go over to Hank.
I guess, yeah, well, that's what I was going to suggest you did. So,
I think he's just getting worried. He's going to take this opportunity to wander over.
I bet you wish you stood a guard.
And and he's going to have a look at the bear skin and the cloth thing, and he wants to see what if there's any other like detail on it and that sort of thing.
So what do you want to look at? Sorry, the bear skin.
The bear skin with the cloth that mounted on.
Yeah,
the cloth.
so that is sort of like on this part. Yeah, no, it literally looks like a huge bear has been sort of like killed and skinned, and then almost like a trophy. Just out of interest, Gulliver and Bartleby, you do notice that once Hengist moves over to the table, you notice that Tobias stands up and starts walking in that direction. Do you wish to do anything?
Yes. If there's a sword nearby, I do want to grab one. So it's left hand lit torch, right hand broadsword.
You can draw the weapon out of the skeleton scabbard that you have next to you. Is that all you wish to do?
No, I wanted to whisper to Gulliver as well.
Whisper away then.
Gulliver's going to say in a loud voice, Tobias, to get his attention, but he's going to say it really, really loud.
Yeah, or Tobias sort of like gets to hear, and he sort of like turns round to you, and he almost like frowns at you, Gulliver, as if to say, "I thought we were friends." And
Gulliver's going to say, "Do you think this is the treasure?"
And he sort of like says, "It's possible that it is, but I don't think your friendly knight there should get his hands on it." And Fineal sort of like stands up with Laram to her side and says, "I agree. Wasn't this a three-way split?" Hengist, hearing this conversation, you turn round to sort of like face everybody else. And Hessaret, you're sort of like looking in that direction, but then casting a wary glance, every now and again. So yeah.
Can I just say, people, it's a three-way split, but are we all supposed to touch things at exactly the same time, or are we supposed to look at things and maybe work forward as a group?
And Tobias turns around to you, Hessaret, and said, "Master Tobias, Master Hessaret, I'm in total agreement. And it's almost like twice now that people from your group have just marched off in general directions without stating what they're doing at all. Maybe some communication would be helpful here."
I agree. Sorry, Mr. Tobias, my friend. I do agree what you're saying. Things can be taken out, actions can be taken out of context, and it's so. In future, we will say, I will go over to the table and have a look before anybody else comes forward. And that way, we can.
Or even pose the question: shall we go to the table rather than just walking straight way up to it? Especially since we know what has gone on before.
I totally understand. And to be fair, to walk up to the table, it's always good to be checking for traps. But I don't think Mr. Hengist had any intent of but looking at the mural, the bear behind the table. You could see his eyes. I could see his eyes the way he was looking, and he was looking at the wall and not the table.
I completely agree. I don't think Master Hengist has any intent at all. Bartleby and Gulliver, could you just make a perception roll, both of you, please? Not one together, just two separately. Oh, yes, nice one.
Gulliver says,
"Oh, both of you."
"I'm going to stand up," and stands up.
You do notice that when Tobias and Hessaret are having this discussion, that Fineal has this massive smirk on her face, and she turns and whispers to Laram, and both of you on those rolls actually pick it up. It's coming to you in Discord.
Technicolor.
Coming to a DVD store soon.
Could they have heard what was said?
No. And that's Mr. Pickles. And that's Gulliver's done. Laram's face almost like doesn't change, and Tobias says at that point, he says, just to let you know, I am going to go and help Master Hengist look at the stuff on the table if anybody would like to join me.
I don't think he was looking at the table, Master Tobias. I think he was looking at the wall, like I said before.
The wall?
Yes, I was looking at the size of the bear skin.
Bear skin. It's
Yes.
a rather large bear, isn't it?
Yes, but I think it's quite obvious that it is a bear. These items, however, are very interesting.
Do not touch them, though, please, because they may be trapped. You never know. We need somebody with subtle hands to have a look.
Or perhaps Master Gulliver can do some of his hocus pocus.
Well, that's what I was hoping. Oh, Mr. Pickles, perhaps.
Who is Mr. Pickles?
No, Mr. Pickles, He's somebody I met along the way.
I do not know what your nickname for any of your friends are, but if you wish to call them Mr. Pickles, or whether or not you were referring to some other person or part of your anatomy, then I'm please refrain.
On a cold night, we call him Mr. Pickles, but he's really Mr. Bartleby.
Oh, right. Well, yes. Well, Mr. Bartleby, it tends to be more of the theist nature. I think he's all about protection and healing. And he Tobias sort of like turns to you, Gulliver, and says, Gulliver, are there traps here?
No.
There you go, Mr. Hessaret. There is no traps here at all.
Gulliver's going to go and pick up the torch that he threw into the...
Okay, yeah, let me assign it to you then. Oh no, that's not you.
If it's all right, I'd also like to kind of walk into the middle room.
Yeah, you if you move where you're, Hengist
is going to go and join the others. He's got no interest. He's seen the bear skin and he's not interested in that treasure because it's not what we're after, I don't think. Or he doesn't think.
Yeah, so it's almost like you have almost like made like a semicircle round the table, and Tobias says, right, so the sorcerer, Master Gulliver, has declared that there is no trap, so 3 objects.
Don't you think it's a little bit, I don't know, strange? I've not seen around the corner. Should we search the whole room before we touch them? Because to have these items just here...
Well, to be honest with you, Master Hessaret, this is Tobias talking, if you can't tell. I'm rather disappointed. I mean, we seem to have come halfway across the realm, and it appears that the great Hessaret treasure consists of 3 rather piffling items.
That's what I'm thinking. It's a little bit of for somebody who I've heard through tales has run rampant around the area in this part of the world for many years, to have 3 items just sat here ready for somebody to take them.
I know it. You know, I was. To be honest with you, Master Hessaret, I am somewhat disappointed. I mean, quite frankly, I think I could have found all this by myself.
Well, what has me worried is something my mother told me about was perhaps.
Is this, Mr. Hessaret, if there's anything to do with your Mr. Pickles, then I please do not want to hear about it at this moment in time.
No, this is something else. This is, my mother used to tell me, you put a little bit of sweet meat or cheese into a little snap trap that would catch like mice and rats, and maybe this here on the table is a piece of sweet meat or cheese ready to catch us.
No, Mr. Hessaret, it is not. Because our sorcerer here has declared that there are no traps here.
Then I concur. I will step to one side and let you do what you do.
So I think the decision is quite easy. Who would want what for this measly amount of treasure that is meant to be the hoard of the great Hessaret.
Maybe this isn't the treasure. There's not a lot of it, is there?
Well, no, I'm somewhat disappointed, Master Gulliver.
Does it not? Could it be like people paying their respects to the mighty Hessaret and leaving these as a mark of respect? Maybe.
Do you think this is a shrine of some description?
Well, I would have thought it looks more like a shrine than somebody who had amassed a lot of wealth.
Well, Hessaret was not known as to be a religious person, but I just think that, we've journeyed so far. Here are 3 items. This appears rather disappointingly to be what the treasure is all about.
Hessaret, you're by the curtain. Is there anything behind it?
So what I'll do is this bearskin that's down the wall, I will just move it to one side and perhaps look behind.
Yeah, so you can move your character. If you carry on moving your character, you'll be able to see behind.
I best don't, because I've not got a torch.
Ah.
I can't see anything.
The wonder of dynamic lighting.
It is indeed. I see nothing.
Bartleby will walk over and join.
Okay.
If I may.
Mr. Bartleby,
Yeah.
would you please help me here for a moment?
I'm gonna hug close behind him. He's my wall of defense.
Follow me wide to the wall. Go wide, and I will cover your back, front, side, middle.
Go
Okay.
wide.
So behind the sort of like the paraphernalia on the front, there lies.
Is that like a sarcophagus?
It certainly is. It's a sarcophagus with the lid firmly on. It looks like it definitely looks like it hasn't been opened at all, and it does have, just like in the picture, it does have what appears to be similar runic lettering on it.
Okay, I'm going to move closer, but not. How can I say this? Not
closer, but not close enough.
Close enough.
Trap.
That's right.
That you'll be affected by it.
That's right.
Wherever your token is, when the ever effect spell goes down, if you're in it, then that is it.
No, it's not. I need Mr. Bartleby to. Mr. Bartleby, sir, could you please come so I can see more? Come around the corner. Come into this little alcove just here for me.
Bartleby, you feel a bit of a push behind you, and it's Tobias saying, "Go on, go on."
No. Hessaret, this is part of the vision. I think. Is this the sarcophagus from my vision?
I don't know, Mr. Bartleby. I never saw a sarcophagus in my vision. I saw barbarians fleeing or fighting over the tundra. Well,
it was before that. It was before that, Hessaret.
I did not have that. I'm sorry.
It's the dragon's gonna kill us after this. After we find the sarcophagus, or at least me, I think.
When you say us, does that include me?
Oh, this is the sarcophagus.
Are you sure? What dragon? What dragon you talk about?
Amriel sent me a vision when I asked her for guidance here, and I guess I'll move a little bit closer. And she showed me the sarcophagus and the body within, the mask that body wears.
Bartleby, just so you know, you feel Tobias almost like pressing up against you, and he's sort of like trying to peer round. And Hessaret, you should be able to see now on the opposite side.
Yeah, I can see Fineal and the
yeah.
Did this vision you had, Bartleby? Did it tell you what was in the sarcophagus, or was it just?
It was a body of a warrior wearing a mask. Stop nudging me, Tobias. And
I think I can't see.
Well,
Tobias, just wait, please. This is serious. We need to make sure this is secure before we move forward.
Sorry, is Fineal in there?
That's fine. Don't worry about Fineal. She's on the same group as we are.
Yes, but she's almost like in the lead.
I don't care. There is no lead here. Just listen to Mr. Bartleby at the moment, please. We need to know what is happening. Mr. Bartleby, what happened? What did the character do inside the sarcophagus?
I don't know, but
did he wake
all
up
I know
like
is
these other abominations behind us, or did he just lay down with a mask on his face? What happened?
it was confusing because I get images and flashes from Amriel, and I saw the sarcophagus like it is now. Then I saw another flash with it open and the body of a warrior wearing the mask, and then flash, I'm on the top of this mountain, and there's the dragon breathing fire onto my body, scorching me.
The body, was it laid down? Was it stood up? Was it, do you know?
Laid down.
Just laid down. It was a body.
Yeah, it didn't seem to be moving or socializing.
No, not many. I like your jest, Mr. Bartleby. Okay, Tobias, move forward if you would, please. And if you feel frightened by lost her name. Yes. Fineal. Then move forward, please, and match her pace and go forward to the sarcophagus. We will wait back here for you.
Has Gulliver gone back out into the middle of the room?
He's gone back. He's gone back into the centre of the room. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He had a look to see what was behind and to see whether or not there was any exits from it.
Yep. I want to whisper. Sorry. Go.
But then he's gone back into the middle of the room, and he's looking directly opposite at the corridor.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Where we
right. So when
you notice that go for it, Hessaret.
Sorry, what I was going to say is I want to whisper to Mr. Bartleby just to back up to the corner, if possible, just really quietly go back, Mr. Bartleby, just pull back.
Don't have to ask me twice.
Yeah. So you notice I don't. Hengist, can you actually see around? You could just see Laram.
I can see Laram and Gully.
Yeah, and then that's it. But so Hessaret and Bartleby, you hear this and see this. For almost like the first time since you started on your journey, Fineal and Tobias seem to be talking to each other. And they seem to be discussing things like, so it appears to be a sarcophagus. And Fineal says, yes, I don't think it's been open for some time. And Tobias says, no, I can see that the seal is still rather intact. And Fineal says, so do you think we need to remove it? Oh, and Tobias says, I think that will be. And it's almost like they're cooperating together for the first time, as if they're sort of like in the mood of everything. And you hear them talk for a while, and then he sort of like says, they both sort of like stand up and say, I think we need to remove the lid.
That is fine, my friends. Go ahead. Perhaps if we move it sideways, it might slide off to one side. I would suggest perhaps pushing it towards the wall with the bed.
Yeah, and Fineal sort of like looks at you and she says, it might have escaped your notice, Mr. Hessaret, but I am not some kind of lumbering barbarian. And she turns to Laram and says, no offence. My art, my skills are in dexterous acts, not heaving heavy weights.
Amazingly enough, Fineal, I concur. I'm exactly the same. I'm more of an art form than a juggernaut.
So Fineal says, so in order to keep this fair, I will put Laram forward as my representative to open the chest to it. And Tobias says, well, my champion would have been Ark until, and he turns to Bartleby and Hessaret, until one of your party sadly caused his demise. So I'm afraid I have no one, although I am willing to participate in removing the lid. Although I fear from the sheer size of it, it's going to need more than just Laram and myself.
Gulliver wants to go over to the stuff that's on the altar.
Yeah. Okay.
He wants to see whether or not he can guess the value of it.
Yeah. Yeah. By all means. Well,
I know everything you're doing, but that's what he.
So Tobias turns round to Hessaret and Bartleby and say, "So, who will be the person that you elect from your group?"
Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe perhaps if we use a bit of not common sense, maybe a bit of cunning. And how about if we tie some rope around the top? I love rope, by the way. If you tie a bit of rope around the top, and perhaps if we all stand at the end here and pull it off at once.
Mr. Hessaret, are you somewhat afraid of a sarcophagus?
I'm afraid of anything I don't know.
Okay, then if you do not feel capable of moving, helping us with the lid, then elect another member of your party.
Well, I'm not in the position to elect. If somebody wishes to volunteer, because our party is part of a...
Okay, I agree. I agree. And if nobody is prepared to join in the removal of the sarcophagus, then you forfeit your share. And Fineal says, they're quite loud behind it. This you can.
He's going to come round and he's going to push past Hengist and he's going to go around and he says, "I'll do it."
And Tobias says, Gulliver, you are obviously very adept at magic, but no offence to you, but you seldom have the strength to help in something like this. We are already one person down in Ark who unfortunately got killed. So I think maybe one of your more beefier characters would be more appropriate. Unless, of course, you wish to forfeit your share of the treasure.
Angus is just, without saying anything, he's just going to walk up to the side of the sarcophagus. He's going to look at Loram and then just nod.
Okay, you need to be on the side of Tobias. Because Loram's got both his massive arms on either side. So he's got like one arm here and one arm here. So just go round to...
push past Hengist and go back.
Okay, so they sort of like say, Master Hengist, towards the door or towards the bearskin? Towards the wall or towards the bearskin? What do you think?
Towards the bearskin is probably easier.
Okay then. And they sort of like all get together, and there's various grunts and groans, and then Loram goes and gets one of the spears from the skeletons and sort of like works its way round the lid, and then they try again, and after a good half an hour of heaving and pushing and shoving, the whole top of the sarcophagus slides towards the bearskin and sort of like clashes into it. Gulliver, you notice this bearskin topples slightly, but stays upright, but budges the table slightly, and that the bust rocks and the chalice sort of like topples over, and you can see inside the sarcophagus.
When the chalice and the bust rock and topple over, nothing happens, I take it?
Well, you wouldn't have seen it.
No, sorry.
Okay, so the lid is off now. What would you like to do? The only reason I'm asking is that the only person who can... Well, no, the only person who can see in the sarcophagus at the present moment in time would be Hengist.
Okay, so Hengist wants to have a look inside the
yeah, no, I take that. What I'm asking is Bartleby and Gulliver and Hessaret, are you just staying where you are?
Gulliver wants to see whether or not he can determine the value of these other things.
Yeah, just roll your commerce skill.
You want to know whether or not they were maybe fake?
No, they are genuinely gold.
Okay.
And while he's doing that, I'll move forward slightly, but just enough to have
Not being hit by any traps.
no. To have Mr. Bartleby behind me to protect him from anything.
Yeah, that's fine. So the only thing I need to know is that the only person who can see in it is Hengist. So I'll type to Hengist what's actually in there.
Gonna keep on cowering. Because I'm a priest.
I think he's gone. I think Hengist is gone.
I see his shadow. He's still with us.
Back. He's back.
He's the shadow of the man I once knew.
Back.
I had to go and find my phone because if I have it open on my Discord on my PC, it goes funny. Makes Zoom go funny.
You seem to be typing a lot just for a dead barbarian.
There's a whole. I got a whole sheet of description.
Can you not cut and paste it?
It's not like it's typing forever and goes, he has a hat.
Yeah, it's just like.
Just typing
Right,
again.
I'm just going to leave at that. I'm just going to put one sentence, and then the more detail can come later.
And he's cuddling a teddy.
How did you know?
Yeah, so the sarcophagus lid is now off, and both you can see from your side, Hessaret and Bartleby, you can see Tobias and Hengist peering in, and Fineal comes up, and Laram and Fineal are looking in as well.
I'm literally staying back to see if anybody's going to make a move against any of us at the moment, just because I don't know how his power play is going to go.
Hengist, whilst he's looking, he wants to he makes a small and then he says out loud, Bartleby, Hessaret, Gully, it's a woman dressed in fully clad in armour with a sword. I don't see anything else. And he's going to have a slight closer look. He's like going to crane his neck to have a closer look at the armour and that sort of thing to see what it is.
Yeah, it's definitely armour.
No, okay, sorry. As in, is it trying to work out what it's made of? Is it bronze, silver, steel, iron?
Yeah, it looks some kind of ornate scale mail. It's chased with gold, and it's got embellished gems all over it.
It's saying in a loud voice, these things in this altar, they look really, really valuable.
Does it have so like for the armor? Is there a mask or a faceplate or?
You're actually at the feet of it, but you can't see the face of the woman warrior. There's definitely something covering it.
Okay, so yeah, he's going to he'll describe the armor. So he said it seems to be quite valuable, sort of like laced in gold, and there are minor precious gems on it. Hessaret.
No, it's
Still looking at these things. Gulliver's going to. I thought Hessaret was a man.
no. Hessaret was we just knew them as a barbarian, didn't we?
No, Hessaret was a male.
Ah. So who is this person in this coffin? It's Hessaret, not Hessaret.
Yeah.
I am a man.
Well, I was beginning to doubt it.
I am a man.
Is Hessaret and Bartleby actually holding hands back there? You seem to be very close
No,
to each other.
I'm sorry, but that's none of your business, and I'll thank you.
And suddenly,
I think your party is so funny because there's times that one person walks out in front and then they come back and then somebody else walks out, and it's just sort of like tempt the DM to kill this person, and then the rest of us will be safe.
Where's Gilly?
Gulliver's just keeping well out of the way of everything. So
on his own in the back.
yeah. Yeah. So if there is an explosion, he knows that he's going to be completely safe down there and can take the high ground and say, "Told you so." Well, you did rush in. That's what he's planning on.
I know. Oh,
No,
okay, I don't. If Bartleby moves forward, I will also move forward in front of him again, shielding him.
Okay then, Gulliver, can you take your headset off, please? And when I put my thumbs up, you'll be able to hear the description. It's where you can put it back on again. Okay, is he off?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay then. So this is what everybody sees in the fine glory. The first thing is that this burial almost like takes your breath away. There is nothing as fine as what you see in the sarcophagus. You actually consider that a king would probably not expect a final burial than this burial that's happening, and you almost like get that lump in your throat as you see it. It's obviously a woman, and she's clad out in fantastically ornate scale mail that is chased with gold and embellished with gems, and the sword on her breast, across her breast, is likewise decorated. It doesn't look like it's a real sword. It's almost like it's a fake sword via its finery. You also notice that she has what appears to have been bracelets and rings on her fingers, but now they're all sort of like withered away, and so they're sort of like up here, crossed across her chest, and you can see that they once were probably filled with human bones and flesh, but now they're just sort of like almost like rattling around. You do notice that it does have a burial mask on it. It's covering her face, but it's one of these that is actually completely formed in the face of the person. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's literally being moulded across the face, and you instantly recognise it as the same as the bust at the front, and it is at this point. It's at this point that
flowers burst from her chest. And level 17.
No, especially since there's no levels in this. Are you playing the right game, Hessaret? Could you make insight rolls for me, please?
All of us.
Yeah, all the people behind. So Hengis, Hessaret, and okay then. Does anybody wish to use any luck?
Oh, if only, but no.
Is a 99 a fumble still? Could I put a tick in it?
Yes, you could put a tick on it. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Does anybody wish to roll again?
I can't, sadly.
No?
Me either.
Okay then.
Angus will, in that case.
Okay, cool.
You'll do very well with it.
Yay! Fine, very well.
That's an automatic point.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna waste more than any luck points.
So you all miss the irony of this, and it's Tobias that suddenly starts to talk. Gulliver, you can put your headphones back on.
Oh, he has the voice. No, he won't see. He only sees who's talking.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. No, not now. Take him off.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah. Okay. So you, Gulliver, you hear Tobias talking now, and he just sort of like says, none of you have actually made the connection. But it's actually Tobias, and second later, as Tobias starts to talk, that it's Fineal sort of like gets it as well, and he sort of like says, I know who this is. This is Boda. This is Hessaret's warrior wife.
Really? It's something I've not heard of, Mr. Tobias. Please enlighten me.
And Fineal says, I understand. What would be more precious to anybody in this situation? What would be his greatest treasure? What would be Hessaret's greatest treasure of all times? Surely nothing could be of a greater treasure than his wife. And it suddenly dawns on you that you were slightly misled by the term Hessaret's treasure, because you were assuming treasure was of the material sense, and yet quite clearly it was more of the emotional and friendly sense. Here lies Boda, Hessaret's treasure, i.e. his beloved. And there she lies.
Should we leave her here and just reset that? Let's leave her because this is Hessaret's. Oh.
Bartleby leans forward and says, we need the mask. Bartleby goes, we need the mask.
Does it look like the correct mask from my visions?
It certainly does, yeah.
Oh dear. I'm just gonna look to everybody else.
What was on this table? There was was there a busk? Did you say
a bust? Yeah.
Yeah.
A chalice and an oil lamp, all of gold. Gulliver, just so you know, none of them will fit nicely into your backpack.
No, but Gulliver's going to say again in a loudish voice, this bust looks really, really heavy. It must be worth a fortune.
It's a pretty mighty bust.
Well, Tobias says, well, this is quite a predicament. What shall we do?
I don't know. I mean,
Hessaret, tell your wife to go to bed if she's tired.
She's tired.
Stop yawning in my game.
She's like a game girl who yawns a lot.
So Tobias says, well, this is quite a predicament.
Well, I don't know. I mean, what is his armor worth? Is it worth a lot, or is it worth... And to be quite honest, people of my tribe, we are very reserved to desecrate most sort of graves like this.
It is interesting, Hessaret, because once you mention that, Laram, for probably only the second time in the whole adventure, actually speaks again, and in a very rough and deep guttural voice. He sort of he just says a few words, and he says, we cannot disturb his treasure.
I agree, Laura. It's something that we wouldn't, because it's just give me 2 seconds, please.
Pause.
Will you get to bed? Do you want me to shout at somebody, Med?
I hear weird voices in my head.
I see young people. That's so wrong to say that.
I see living people.
Yes. Laram, yes, I agree. We should not touch. I mean, it's his treasure. It's his wife. We should leave this alone. Go, you two, go choose whatever item you want while we lift this sarcophagus lid back on top. We cannot disturb.
Tobias says, are you serious?
Yes.
That armor alone?
No, Tobias, you cannot touch the armor. It's important. You do not touch the armor. You leave it. It's a burial chamber. There's much honor and respect. There's
Okay.
There's plenty of gold out there for you. Choose one piece between you.
Okay, Master Hessaret. I completely understand. And he sort of like a smirk goes across his face.
I don't understand what you are saying, Mr. Tobias.
Hessaret, roll an insight roll.
Oh, my worst one.
No, and Bartleby, you can Hengist and Bartleby, you can roll them as well, since you will hear what he's saying as well.
I got 2 ticks this time.
Bartleby, you listen to Tobias and you definitely catch the undertone, and the undertone is, I know where this is now, so I can literally come back and ransack.
I'm gonna whisper that into to Hessaret's ear.
Tobias says, yes, let's see what is out the front. Let's decide. And Fineal turns to you, Gulliver, and says, so what element do you think your group will be taking? Luram and Hengist can move the sarcophagus lid.
No. Hang on, just 1 second. I wanted Hengist to take Luram's place and go around the front, if possible.
No, Luram's not happy to do that. Because he doesn't think that the burial should be desecrated at all.
It wouldn't be desecrated until
much.
Went away.
He actually wants to make sure that Hessaret's treasure is actually
yeah. Oh, pooey pancakes. Sorry.
Gulliver, Master Gulliver, Tobias talking. Which one would your group like?
Which one what?
Which of these 3 things? A 3-way split it's going to be. One for your party, one for myself, and one for the unfortunate Fineal here. Fineal says, unfortunate? Oh, sorry, fortunate.
Is there only 3 items?
Yes. Apparently, your Master Hessaret does not want to desecrate the sarcophagus, and we are all in agreement with him. We are going to take him on his word, and we're going to leave it, and we're not going to come back ever. We're just going to wipe the location of this fantastic tomb and the wonderful stuff in that sarcophagus from our minds forever. Fineal says, I quite like the chalice. Are we happy for let me have the chalice? She says. Tobias says, yes, by all means. And Gulliver, would you like to pick next, or shall I?
You can pick, Tobias.
Oh yes, he says, I will take the bust, which leaves you guys with the small oil lamp. And Luram and Hengist, you've put the sarcophagus lid once more onto Hessaret's wife, Boda's sarcophagus, sealing her once again in her sanctuary.
Until next time.
So, I suppose that's it now. Time to go.
It is indeed. Would you mind if we rest? Because we are very weary. So you can rest with us. It would be good. In a safe place before we go. Because you never know if that winged beast is still out there. We need to be at our full capacity to go make the trek down the mountain.
I think a nice rest here is absolutely fine. Not a problem at all. So you all sit down.
Just all like looking around, and he keeps looking at Hessaret and Bartleby as if to say, "What on earth is going on?"
At some point during the night.
Yeah. Okay then. So
I will go like this and that to Gulliver.
Hang on. Let's get to that point then. So let's organise. So say for example, you you decide to not light a fire here, but you decide to have dried rabbit that you had, and so let's decide. So you're going to have a night's sleep. So let's decide who's going to take watches, when and in which order.
Are we going to do the same order as before, or are we going to switch it around, or?
I'd like my ideal shift at night.
Yeah.
I don't know if we probably can't see the moon from here, but I still like my shift.
Okay then. So it'll be, if we split the night into 4 shifts.
I'll take the last as normal.
Okay. So Hazra's going to take number 4.
Gulliver take the first one.
Gulliver takes the first one. Hengist and Bartleby.
I'm a third.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So I'll go on whatever's left then.
Second. Yeah. Cool. You notice that Laram, almost like, if you notice, he's always over in the corner, and he's almost like on some kind of guard duty. You notice that he doesn't sit down; he remains standing, and Fineal sort of like sleeps here. Tobias sleeps there, apart from when it's their watch. So where do you want to put yourself where you'll be sleeping, and then we'll assume when it's your watch you can put yourself where you are going to be sat or stood.
Gulliver will sleep in front of the altar, but when he's on watch, he'll.
Yeah, well, you're on watch first, Gulliver.
Yeah. Okay, so he'll sort of like sit on it.
Sit on the.
On this day.
The shrine.
Dais, yeah.
Yeah.
On the stone table.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay then. So you're sat there, and Bartleby and Hengist, whereabouts are you sleeping?
I feel pretty good right here.
Okay.
I'll stretch out and pretend I'm stargazing, but I'm not.
Probably sort of there-ish.
Yeah. Okay. So it's sort of like a 2 or 3 hour watch, and Gulliver, you're sort of like sat on the stone table, and it's about 45 minutes, an hour into your watch, so people have dropped off to sleep at that point, and you notice that Tobias stands up, and he sort of like says, "Oh, Master Gulliver, are you all right?"
Thank you. You should get some sleep, Tobias. It's going to be a long journey.
I know. There is so much in my head. I just thought I would go for a walk, see whether or not I can clear it, maybe wander down to the pit and back again.
I would advise not to. You don't know what is going to.
Yes, I understand, Gulliver. Thank you very much for your advice. It is taken, don't worry. I'll be fine, he says. And you notice that he's walks a little bit further out, and then he sort of like takes a light from your torch and strikes his own and starts to head down the corridor, and you can see his light moving, Gulliver, and it sort of like moves along the corridor, and then you notice it's slightly.
He's going to wake Bartleby.
Okay, Bartleby, perception check, please.
And I'm a heavy sleeper. Let's see. Perception.
With a torch in his face, you would be.
Ow.
Yeah, Bartleby, you're sort of like asleep, and all of a sudden Gulliver's shaking you, saying, Bartleby! Bartleby!
I'm trying to figure it out. What? Who? What? Oh, Gulliver.
Tobias has gone off by himself.
Well, that's not a smart move at night. Tobias, you said?
Keep a watch. I'll go and check on him.
Okay, can do. Yeah. I'm up. I'll get a torch lit or something.
Gulliver's going to head off after.
Yeah, so he was probably at the base of the pit by the time you went over to Bartleby. So when you start to look down the corridor, you can't see his light up ahead. You figure that he's probably over the pit and going down the opposite side, which, if you remember, is on an incline up to the pit. So as you look across now, you won't be able to see his light in any case.
Okay, so Gulliver's going to try to hurry, get over the pit, and he's going to try to catch up with him.
Okay, then. So you just tell me the conditions that are going to be met for you to stop and come back.
If I can see his light, then I'll approach him.
Yeah, or try to catch up with him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to move. I'm going to move as fast as I.
Yeah. So what's your movement?
My movement. Well, I reckon I'm going to be sort of like, because of the uneven ground, etc., and having to go over a pit. My walk's 7 and my run's 17, so I would have thought I'd be able to make maybe something halfway in that.
Yeah. Okay then.
I wouldn't be able to run flat out.
No. Yeah, so you start to jog, and you can see his light. You don't. He seems to be moving at quite a rate, and he's moving further and further away from you as he sort of like his light continues. And you get to the top of the you go over the planks of wood to the top of the pit, and you then notice that he's just gone round the corner. It's sort of like, so it goes back into the big cave past the waterfall, etc. He's got the what do you call it? He's definitely got the lead on you.
Okay, I'm going to have to increase my speed of the to try to catch him.
Yeah, and you notice that he sort of like at one point you sort of like start to run, and you notice that you almost like start to get closer, but your light starts to he starts to see your light, and he looks around and sees you, and he starts to run as well. Could you roll your endurance check for me, please? Yeah, and you're sort of like slowly getting out of breath now, and your movement is it's not slowing, but you're really feeling that you're tired. And he sort of like sees this, and he's round the corner now, so he's probably started to go through the large outer chamber that has the bats in beforehand.
He's going to shout. He's going to shout, "Tobias, stop!" as loud as he can. Yeah,
you sort of like shout it down the corridor, and he doesn't seem to well, you can't see him now because he's round the corner. He's going through the outer cave, and if you remember, there's a curve in the tunnel there, and you can see his light bouncing up and down, but he doesn't seem to be stopping at all.
Okay, I'm going to give up the chase.
Okay, so you give up the chase just as you go into the large outer cave, and you can see him. He's just sort of like moved round by the waterfall, and he just sort of like looks back, and you sort of like see him look at you, and he just sort of like goes and disappears as you slow down to a gentle trot.
Okay, I'm just going to leave him. I'm going to head back.
Okay then, so you head back, and you arrive back quite out of breath. Bartleby, you're still awake, and Gulliver comes back quite out of breath.
You go.
He ran. He was heading out, and I couldn't catch him.
You couldn't catch Tobias running out of here. Well, so, I mean, I guess he wants to be out there playing with the wyvern. Far be it for us to stop him and his freedoms to play with giant murder creatures.
But what happens if he somehow managed to get the mask?
Well, that is not well. Let's just solve that. We can go back and just double check, and we can bring Lariam in here, and Lariam and I, we could all check and see that the seal, the lid's still on. I'm gonna wave Gulliver to come on over. I'm gonna make my way around.
Gulliver's going to wake up everybody else.
Say again, sorry, Gulliver, I didn't hear that.
Gulliver's going to wake up everybody else.
Yeah, okay then. So Gulliver comes.
That Tobias is gone.
And Fineal sort of like laughs and said, "Oh, you should have expected that, lying, skeeving little rat."
But where has he gone? I'm sorry, I've just woken up. What has happened?
He said he needed to go for a walk, and so I woke up Bartleby so that I could go with him. But he started to run, and I couldn't keep up.
Fineal says, "Let him be. He's obviously got his own agenda to follow now."
But if he's running away from us, why? Why did he run? He could have just walked out with no problem. But why would he go alone without our protection?
Fineal talks to you, looks at you, Hessaret, and he says, "It is not for us to know why."
It is for us to do or die. I think
exactly. He says, "Is this why we all wait now?"
You don't think he would have got anything from the sarcophagus?
He's a rich man, is this Tobias, isn't he? How are we not to know he's not got an army sat down below the rocks waiting for us to come out of here to take our part of the treasure?
Quite possibly.
Well, let's check to make sure we all have our treasure pieces here and it's accounted for and the sarcophagus is closed. And
yeah. So you everybody seems to have their piece, and the sarcophagus is still closed. Okay, so what's your plan to actually get the mask? That's what I need to know now.
I have one hatching.
Everybody in the room, including myself. I joke.
Oh. I was in the morning intending to try and use my oratory skill to convince everybody of the divine purpose of opening up the sarcophagus again and taking the mask in Amriel's name. Nothing else.
Right. So you're just saying that. Why would you want to take it?
Because I saw in a vision that I need to, and it is beyond my knowledge of what Amriel intends to do with it. But I have received this divine quest from her. It must be removed, and I say nothing else should be removed from it.
And they Fineal and Laram question what is to become of the mask.
I don't know. Would I be able to roll devotion here to perhaps get a little helping vision from Amriel? Yeah,
what they need to, you can roll it. What they need to know is what's going to happen to the mask.
Well, it won't be sold if that's their concern. It is to be taken to the church and have the higher up priests who can interpret Amriel's visions better than I can, most likely, unless Amriel has something for me to
so who's supporting
I would support in the sense that I would say, and once the priests have looked at the mask, maybe they will bring it back and put it in its correct.
Okay then. So
Gulliver wants to go down the route of if it's important for Bartleby to return it to the church, then if they will allow us to do that, then we will give up our share of the.
Okay then. So
back that up as well.
Okay then.
So sweet.
So Hengist, Gulliver, and Hessaret, can you tell me 1/5 of your influence skill? or decide who's going to roll it. It seems like Bartleby,
Sorry.
Influence skill. You should have an influence skill. Everybody has one. It's double your charisma.
My influence is better than my oratory by 8 points.
Cool. So
So
The
mine,
oratory is professional.
my 1/5 is 8. By the way.
8. Hazard, you don't need to roll it. I just need to.
Sorry, mine's pants. Mine's
14.
yes, 14.
So that's 8, 3. Gulliver, what's yours?
My influence 61%.
61. So that'd be. Is that 12? Isn't it? Roughly.
What was Hazard's 14?
Hazard's total was 15. His
Yeah.
Mine's
his
at
thing
19.
is like
I'm not very insightful.
So your skill can be upped by 23%.
Okay, I'm gonna put that in the other, I guess, for while I'm rolling.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And just to let you know, how I'm going to play this is that whatever you roll, it's not to roll and say it's happened or it hasn't happened. It's a roll to see how much they actually believe that you are going to be doing what you're going to do. Okay. So it depends on this roll what happens the next day and the day after, etc.
This might be an inappropriate question. Would I be able to add my passion of my oath to the twin moons here?
Yes, you can. So you can add 1/5 of that.
1/5 of 58 is
it's about
11 points.
11 points. So 12 points. So it's now up to plus 35 to your skill.
Oh yeah, building up all those points. Okay, are you guys ready for the roll?
Oh, I hate to think what it's going to be.
Fumble!
Let's just go with it.
Yes.
Decent. Do you want to reverse it?
I have no luck. I couldn't just be this roll.
Okay, so you sort of like give this speech about taking the mask, and Fineal is very much. She sort of like says, "So if you can take one of these things, I want to take one." And then Gulliver comes up with the answer. Hang on a minute, you can have both the things from the table, and there take the mask. And she's quite happy about that. Laram is not happy about it, but Fineal speaks some words to him, and he sort of like nods in his agreement. And then Hengist and Laram can remove the sarcophagus and remove the mask. And Bartleby, when you remove the mask, you can see almost like this hideous face behind it now, because what was once a beautiful warrior woman is now all shriveled and skeleton-like and has scraggly hair and everything. And it's almost as if before you removed the mask, she was this beautiful, powerful lady. And now that you've removed the mask, it's almost like she's a skeleton now, and a dead, decaying skeleton. And it's as if her whole personality and her prowess has just been sort of like taken from her. You rest the rest of the night, and then you head back together. Fineal is quite jovial on the way back. She seems very happy that she's got her gear, and on the way back she talks to you and she says, please, it would not be wise to try to sell or speak about any of this in Advent. And he says it's too close for what we remember. She says, I suggest you go a long way before you talk about what's happened. And you make your way back round, and you go down the slope, and you don't see any sign of Tobias at all. And you sort of like head down the track, and as you head down the track, you're very much aware of watching out for the winged dragon, and you don't see anything at all until you're about halfway down the track, when you see lying on the track the bust that Tobias took. It looks like it's almost like fallen out of a backpack or something like that. And Gulliver, you remember him putting it in the backpack, and it's just sort of like it's just lying there on the side. And Fineal sort of like says, "So who takes this?"
Well, if I think if you've got two, we can have the one.
And she's quite happy about this, and there's lots of discussion about what has happened to Tobias. And it's only when you get down the side of the mountain that you suddenly find out what has actually happened to him, because down at the bottom of the mountain you find the crumpled deformed body of Tobias. He's missing his head altogether, and it almost like looks as if something picked him off the track, and then that's when you think the golden bust fell out and just sort of like dropped him over the edge, savouring his head for a later date.
I think that's not the way to get ahead in life.
Yeah, and Fineal sort of like says, "Well, he probably deserved that after murdering one of my friends and trying to run away from us." So over the next few weeks, you make your way back to Advent, and you manage to get through the swamp and round. And the only thing that sort of like is different on the way back is that you all have a dream, each one of you. And when you talk about it the next day, you are talking about it, or you mention it, and it seems that you have all had a similar dream. And the dream consists of you walking through almost like an oasis in the middle of a forest. You seem to have you have no shoes on, and the grass is lovely and soft and almost like peat-like between your feet, and you just sort of like walk quite calmly, and everything's very serene, and the sun's having that dappled effect as it comes through the canopy as you walk. And you walk towards what appears to be an oasis, a lake or a pond in the middle of this clearing, and there's a rock just on the edge, and on the edge of the rock sits a woman, and she's just sort of like dangling her feet into the pond. And you sort of like, as you get closer and closer, she sort of like turns round to you, and you instantly recognize her. She's the woman who walked with you down the road towards Advent, and she smiles at you, and she smiles and says, "Well done, you got it. One more piece to go, and this is probably the most precious piece." And then to each of you she utters the same sentence, and this sentence stays in your head quite clearly. And she says, her final sentence is, "This one will be difficult, and it will require a great sacrifice." And just as you get to that point, you almost like wake up, and for the first time you actually remember the woman, and you relate it back to the same woman who was walking towards Advent with you, and you talk about it to each other, about what's happened, etc. And you head back to Advent, where you'll be able to rest and train up and then decide what to do next. You've got the bracelet, you've got the mask. There's only the talk to find now. But according to the seer, the woman, it's going to require a great sacrifice, and we will leave it there. Ooh,
Are you back in Advent, or
you are now back in Advent, as you can see from your thing. You're actually staying at the Wild Wyvern for the night, and we will then next week we'll see what happens and where you go to next. So I saw Hessaret had to go because his boy's ill. Well done. So what do you think, guys?
We did it. It was a close one there. I was trying to formulate that oratory plan because I couldn't figure out a good anything.
No, I think that plan was a real good one, and it was especially how you all came together with your various influences to actually.
I don't know why Tobias ran.
No, I thought Tobias was going to try and sneak past Moran and get at the sarcophagus
already.
He had what, Si?
I thought maybe he'd got the mask.
Oh, no. I mean, something else.
I thought it had a secret army somewhere. But I'm going now.
Yeah. Okay, then. Hope it gets better soon. Yeah.
Thank you. Speak soon.
Okay, yeah. So, fantastic. So, yeah, well done. So, next week we need to sort out improvement rolls. And
but what about people like... I won't be able to do spells or anything because I'm in Advent.
No, you won't be able to learn new spells because you're in Advent. But it depends what you wish to do next time. You have two options. Of course, there is Matilda's portal, that you know where it is, and there's also Sildar, which is a town to the northern part, which is probably quite big compared to Lindo as well. Or there might be something else you want to do, or something else which the adventure might have in store for you. So we will see. So tell me, anybody got any announcements or anything like that they would like to make?
I do not. No.
Cool. So I would just say that following this week, tomorrow at 3 o'clock BST time, we'll be playing some Elder Scrolls Online. On Tuesday, we play Shadowrun, 7 o'clock in the evening here on this channel. And
are we playing this Tuesday?
I will let you know.
Okay.
But on Thursday's the excitement of Call of Cthulhu, which is my most favourite game ever at the moment. I'm enjoying DMing it, or being the keeper for it, so much. It's unbelievable. And you never know, Longshanks and Mr. Pickles, you might actually solve this mystery that's been going on for weeks. In the last session. Yeah, and I think we left you at a really exciting place, didn't we? Because
I think I blocked out the whole event because it was just so scary.
I think you're trapped between a noise upstairs and a moving 8-foot statue downstairs.
Oh, don't! I'm gonna find this now.
and
It's just a dark god in the basement and some cultists upstairs. It's
just the personification of the god.
It's nothing. It's nothing at all. So so we play Call of Cthulhu here on this channel on Thursday at 7 o'clock in the evening as well. Yeah. So if you've been watching tonight, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's adventure as much as I have GMing it, and hoping that the players have enjoyed it as well. And I will be back tomorrow. So until then, I'd like to say to each and every one of you, please remember to be who you are and say what you think, because the people who mind don't matter, and the people who matter don't mind. Have fun, guys, and I'll catch you all later. And until then, consider yourself well and truly waffled. Have fun, guys. Bye. Oh.